Hail and good evening, friends. It's time that we all came together again for yet another stream on Berserk. So, this time we will be reviewing Deluxe Volume 4, and tonight I'm joined by my intrepid co-hosts here, Billy Bob Sack, Readout.
Say hello, Readout, you fuck.
Readout, you're on mute.
Come on, if we find it that easy, I'll quit being a merchant. I found it. Retirement it is.
Oh, this is going to be a wild time indeed. Unintended.
Yeah, an Otter leading a group of retirees. Nothing more exciting.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Kahuna, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fabulous. I just got done with a hard job today, and I'm leaving for home in 2 days here, so I'm pretty excited.
Oh, nice. And last but not least, Bat Sauce.
Hello.
Hot sauce.
Here to bring
Hell
a
yeah.
little bit of a tism to the stream on my short bus.
beep.
We will
See, they couldn't
be-
afford a second beep.
between all of us, we will,
We're on a
we will
budget
go
here.
all the way across the spectrum, the whole way, starting with the rainbow-colored one. Isn't that right, Otter?
Yep. Oh, fuck. I walked right into that one. God damn it.
Bro, why'd you say yes?
I wasn't
Otter.
thinking, all right?
Oh.
How are you gonna let the cucumber and salad man fuck you up? You know?
Well,
cripes.
I mean, if it helps us in any way whatsoever, we're not in any better shape for the kind of subject matter we're dealing with tonight. A lot of phallic
a real
imagery,
wild
let's
time.
say.
Yeah, the most limp-wristed RAPE attempt I've ever seen.
Are you saying WoW couldn't get it up?
No, not quite. I was referring more
What
to
was his
our
motto? Entice and excite.
Yeah, it's like exhilarate and excite or some bullshit like that.
Look it up, Bat Sauce.
Well, I'm
at
still
this
trying to look
model.
up the last thing you told me about.
It's in the first one. The first.
Look that up.
volume of this.
And look that up too while you're at it. Look it all up. Look all the
Look it up.
information up.
Go to
Danny,
Baki
can
Raka.
you look that up? Yeah.
Yeah, go
look
to
that up.
Baki Raka chapter 2. Dude, okay, so the first chapter in this one is called Sparks from a Sword Tip. And this is right after Guts' Bane Casca. And they're like talking.
That name is it's on point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I mean we it's a little weird that we're now finding out where Guts has been the past year, which he's been training in the mountains with Dodo, a blacksmith, and what's her name? Erica, the little tiny girl that you saw. And we find out how he broke his other sword that he left with. The when he fought Griffith, the one that had like the
Knight's Crossguard, yeah.
Yeah, we found out he broke it from training with logs off a goddamn waterfall.
Well,
That's a tough
yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah. He's
That's
like,
one way to do
I
it.
will beat the trees. No one can stop me. Not even the
Oh.
trees.
And
Then
we can't
Erica
show
comes
it
on screen.
because,
She's like, "Yeah, what are you doing? It's kind of dumb."
He's
It's a
like,
metaphor
Guts-
for killing nature.
I'm beating my wood. What?
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 Yeah, Guts gets his whole revelation is he doesn't want to fight for anyone else, and he wants to become the best soldier. He wants to become Goku.
I want to be the very best. No one. Actually,
And
we
then
need that
Casca-
edit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Casca's like, yeah, you're just like Griffith, fucking asshole, and is getting pissed at him, and then he just grabs her tit during this argument.
I always found that was the best way when I was married. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure it never
It's like,
never anything
Never.
bad happened.
no.
But Guts tells her that he wants her hundreds of thousands of times, guys.
Well,
I
yeah.
like how during this entire time she's just muttering. She's constantly muttering "stupid" underneath her breath, just as he's saying it.
Meanwhile,
Just-
Guts is over here just having a full-blown Meatloaf song. You know, I want you, I need you. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
He's sitting here like with an 80s, like, I want to know what love is.
We also get
Dude.
Griffith. We finally cut back to him after a year, and
He is not doing especially well.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
doing
he's good.
horribly.
he is
Walls
also
of-
thinking. He is also thinking of Guts with all his emotions, which are just not hate or whatever. It's all of them mixed together.
Despair.
And let's just
Yeah.
put it this way, the walls of reality are starting to break down just a little bit, with a little bit of important foreshadowing for what's to come.
Oh, yeah,
He's
you
like,
get the
ooh,
little,
look at this hallway. It's lovely.
you get the little tiny creatures poking at the brick, and they're kissing him, calling him the prince and shit. And you get the little image of, oh, what are these guys? Never seen them before.
What are these shadows? Don't look ominous. That's weird.
Yes.
Griffith's like, wait, I've seen Hellraiser before.
He's
But-
like, wait, this is Japan ripping off another popular franchise. Not again.
Yeah, so after this, Griffith, or we end up with I don't know how long it's been between it, but basically Casca and the Band of the Hawk are going to break Griffith out. They split up into 2 groups with Casca, Guts, Judo, Pippin, and technically Corcus. He's not the direct rescue party, but it's the group with him. And then Rickert and the other ones go to a different location.
More on that later.
More on
I
that.
love how every time Guts like ruins a sword, nobody's surprised anymore. They're just like, oh, sure, another sword. Why not?
Well, we got one more sword to go.
There's
Yep.
also a panel that I always loved. This is the Count from the very first
Well,
chapter of
Not
the
the
manga.
Count.
Say.
Not the Count.
Is it the Baron?
Baron.
I always get the
Yep.
2 names mixed up. But
Yep.
yeah, we get to see the Baron make a brief return in this one panel, and I really love this panel because we're starting to see more of kind of like the interstice and demon kind start to seep its way into the Golden Age arc, just bit by bit. You're getting a
Surely
taste
it's
of
a
it.
one-off. There won't be a lot of demon stuff before too long. Surely not.
There's no cause and effect. One might even say causality behind this.
Well,
Also,
that was
you
a
need
weird
to
thing to
show-
appear. This will never
You
come
need
back
to show
again.
when they split up into their groups, when Casca jumps on the horse, and some lingering pain. Where she's fucking.
Let me see if I can find
Yo.
that really quickly. It's actually
Just
a
saying.
great
She's like-
gag.
She's looking at Guts like fucking ferociously angry, and then Guts is like, "What happened? You know what's going on?" She's just
Yo,
was thinking.
Just
"Lucky."
saying, Wild in his demon form looks like that chick or that thing from Real Monsters.
Oh yeah.
But we end up getting. I think it's 3 days later. They end up showing up outside the castle, and you have the going through a graveyard. And Readout, this is one of your favorite gags.
Oh yeah, I got to be honest. The depravity's starting to increase in the Golden Age arc. We're getting back to the depravity we saw at the start of the manga, but man, the
Yeah.
comedy's still on point, especially in their descent into the tower.
Speaking of which, this is kind of painful. The jokes are kind of on point in this series.
Guts comes over. Yes, I have the largest. Takes out
More
his-
horses.
The largest.
More horses.
So Readout, tell me go ahead and tell us the joke of when they get to the
Right,
grave.
I'll read it again. Come on, if we find it that easy, I'll quit being a mercenary. I found it. Retirement it is. Man, Oh,
I also love the joke after this where Pippin's like, "Can I even fit in there?"
oh yeah. I don't know. I can down that hole.
And then they descend in there. Also, when Guts is talking about this, they're like, "Oh, we have an inside person." This is how they know about this secret passage and shit.
I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, look at
Really-
fucking poor Pippin.
I also love this mincing words here. Perspective shot. Just you're getting kind of like an upward camera angle. It's showing Casca in the front, Guts behind, and then just Pippin just trying to fit his way down, but I love the scale. It's just
Well,
a really
Judo's also
fun
watching.
panel.
Juno,
Judo's
advise
I'm
to
gonna
step
see if
just
the-
a little bit to the right, please. You're about to be crushed.
So we end up getting there, and then we find out who the contact is, and of course it's fucking Charlotte.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
And then one of my favorite gags is coming up
Yeah.
where
I got it.
Charlotte's
I-
like, "Oh, I remember you. You were with Lord Griffith before the sending out to the Battle of Doldry." And she's like, she thought it was she was a man during that chapter, and this is a callback to it. And she's like, "Oh, I knew you at a glance. This time you're a woman."
Hey,
Then
I
you just
got
got guts in the background.
I got the
Yeah,
wild quote.
Because it's dark. She mistook her for a woman, you know.
What's the wild quote?
All right, one sec.
It's my motto. Make it fun. Make it stimulating. Did you hear that?
That's
Oh,
not
Yeah, but
ominous
there's the
whatsoever.
other one as well, where it's the
Guts are
entice and
off.
excite.
No, all he says is make it fun, make it stimulating.
There's
Yeah, but
one he
there's
says
I'm-
to his lieutenant later on where it's like, remember the motto, entice and excite, or something like that.
Ah.
But we end up-
Sounds like you guys.
Yeah,
are
but we
making
end
it
up getting Charlotte and stuff, and them going through and talking. And then you end up getting to the Tower Rebirth, where Griffiths is on like the lowest level. And then Judo's wanting to say, "Hey, Casca, maybe we should take her hostage just in case." And she overhears it and then asks Casca, "Hey, you can do that. I can take me with you," and all this other shit.
Oh,
And then
also, I
Casca
lo- I
tells her
love
no.
the-
We're
I love
also
the panel.
reminded that Charlotte is kind of, let's just say, pampered nobility.
Well, she also had to lie and then bribe the guards to go away as well before this. In that scene.
Yeah, it's like she bribes them, and then right as they walk away, they're like, "Man, we're really surprised the princess was able to handle that so well," and then she just immediately faints.
Yes. And then after Casca basically says, "Hey, you need to you don't need we don't need to kidnap you because this could ruin Griffith's reputation, all this other shit." Then she does that, and then they all hold her mouth shut. And then
I love
Guts
that
just
panel.
going,
It's so funny.
"You know what? We should tie her up. That'd be like the quickest way,
I can't believe this is coming from the same manga that's about to have some of the most depraved of illustrations.
That's
Oh, don't
putting it
worry.
lightly.
It'll be like this all throughout the series, just letting you know. You'll always have
Okay.
gags and comedy bits.
I got it. The creed of the Black Dog Knights to enjoy and excite.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we take a brief pan back to Rickerton gang as they're helping with their wounded back in the forest, which
Yes,
is
and then
also wholesome.
Yeah, and the dude tells Rickard to go get water, and then Rickard's just listening to the men, and they're really excited that Guts is back and Griffith and the Band of the Hawk will be together.
Oh,
gets to
nothing
the
bad
lake.
can happen to us
And
now.
nothing
Yeah, he
can
gets
go
to the
wrong.
lake, and when he starts pouring the water, he just notices an elf, something in the
Something
distance.
strange.
Is
Yes.
that Mothra from King of the Monsters?
Mothman,
And,
have I found you?
Mothra!
Yeah,
And
let's
then he-
just go with that.
And then he runs back because he starts hearing screaming at his camp. And then
Oh,
you should have took the page of where all the campfire is out.
Oh,
just pitch black,
God.
little
It's
campfire.
horrifying.
Here
It
we
took
go.
me a moment to figure out
Yeah,
what
and
happened.
then you see the one dude who's like in the count's mouth when the count's peering out of the darkness and you can see him. The dude's just telling Rickard to fucking run.
oh yeah. Didn't Guts I thought the Guts had killed him, but then he hadn't. Yeah.
This is Black Swordsman takes
Slug
place.
Lord.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
2
Black-
years before when Guts fights him.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You
The
forgot
design had reminded me of a different demon from maybe Volume 3. Anyway,
But
continue.
also I think Rickard was drawn really well. I think this is also showing Rickard's
Ooh.
hair in general is showing mirrors.
Look at that
improvement
outline,
in
though,
skill.
dude.
That's fantastic.
Dude, that's so menacing. How the large fucking silhouette.
It's
Oh.
so
And then-
beautifully terrifying.
Yeah, Rickard then steps back, and then he steps in a puddle of blood and turns around and sees all his not that. He sees all his
that's the
former-
badass poster. We can't say that yet.
Yeah, he sees all his former Band of the Hawk members in a ball with some. They're not apostles; they're pseudo apostles. And then he sees Rosine.
And
He's
for
blind.
for YouTube purposes, I'm electing not to show Rosine at the moment.
Yes. Yeah,
Don't
no,
worry,
she's
you'll have
wearing
to see her next
she's wearing a MAGA hat, isn't she?
She's wearing her
Yeah.
birthday suit.
Oh, my favorite.
And when we say birthday suit, we mean birthday suit. Also, FBI, open up.
FBI, open up!
And then, the Count or Rosine is fixing to, let's be honest, about to turn Rickard into mincemeat, and then Skeleton Knight shows up.
Oh,
Basically just tells them to withdraw, and they got other shit to do,
And I've got to
Right.
say this about Skull Knight. Every time he is in the story, you immediately feel it. He's always got a presence with him, which is
Christian, I have a question
much
for
fun.
you.
Indeed.
What do you think Skull Knight is? And do you think he's good or evil?
And
Well,
why
he's
is
the
he
ma-
guts?
Oh man.
I've thought about that already, dude. Truth be told, I don't really know. This series is the kind of series that would fuck with you that way.
Well,
I've
well,
First
like
I'm
I
thought
did
about-
noticing,
with Frederick.
is he barefoot?
Yes.
Is he? Oh.
Maybe.
He's skeleton foot.
I've
Yes,
noticed it,
it's
yeah.
is it
Check
truly
his feet.
barefoot if it's just
Christian, so
Does
I
it-
asked
does his
Frederick
feet
this
match?
before he ended up reading Deluxe Volume 4 and 5. I do want to actually know what's your speculation on what you think he is.
Well, he's in charge of demons, so it's hard to imagine Guts actually going all the way that direction. So I don't know.
The
How
guts
is that?
joke is just a joke, by the way. It's
Yeah.
not actual serious.
I thought
there's a lot of
Charlotte
conspiracies.
I thought Charlotte was onto something when she tells a bit of the backstory of what's the supposed origin
Oh
of
no, no, no.
Midland.
That's 100% a clue, and then you still have people who fucking act like, no, man, he's clearly Guts from the future.
I also think the one of
What?
the chapters gives us a
Oh.
very important clue to what I believe will happen later in the series. He's compared to a certain character that has a role later on.
Yeah, kind of a big role.
Yep.
So
Tremendous role.
But for right now,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is the
Apostle?
Undertaker of Berserk. So we'll just whenever he
You
shows
think
up,
he's an
the
apostle,
Undertaker
Christian?
music should play.
During the daylight, he turns into the Rainbow Knight.
Christian, do you
Also,
think he's an apostle?
well, I don't know who could command demons who isn't a demon themselves, or at least a.
But was he commanding them? Because he was pulling a sword on them.
His authority.
That's the thing. Up until this point, we haven't really seen him do any bad shit. That is a point.
Does anyone control the demons?
Yes. Other higher ranking.
Well, he
demons.
knows the God Hand.
Do
Even
they?
though the God Hand doesn't actually control, their motto is "Do as thou wilt."
Except there's causality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, is there will?
Maybe.
Also, every
We'll
time the
find
Skull
out.
Knight shows up, I'm like, what a great fucking design.
The design is
Oh, man.
metal as fuck.
Like, if this had been a design of one of the ring wraiths in Lord of the Rings, I would not have been upset.
So after this, Rickard survives, of course. And he has a justifiable reaction. He has a justifiable reaction to seeing all this nightmarish shit. Oh yeah, that's Scream.
Yeah, that's gonna happen when all your friends just kind of die just like that.
What happened?
So-
Ah!
Is it the next chapter? Yes, the next chapter when we have Charlotte and them going through the Tower of Rebirth to the bottom, and we get the backstory of at the bottom of this tower was King Geiseric, King Geiseric was the one who's the original one who united the entire continent under one kingdom. He also just wore a skull helmet for a mask. No
That's
relation.
to throw you off.
No relation. Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
So here's the thing with
None
the
whatsoever.
skulls. With the skulls that are left over in the bottom of the pit, all the marks,
Yes.
the markings on them, they're all on their
So-
head very specifically. So
Yeah.
I wonder if
Casca-
that's intentional or not.
Casca hits her face in a fucking rock while they're listening to the story. Oh, by the way, he has a naked woman on his horse. Has no relation to Skull Knight. None whatsoever. She drops her torch, and then we get to see the actual bottom of this fucking tower, which all them skulls have imprinted brands of sacrifice. And as
That'll
you'll
never.
see
That
later
won't
on-
come up in a couple volumes. No.
And as
Yeah,
you'll see
back
later
to
on,
nothing ominous about that whatsoever.
It's like,
Wait.
man,
to
if
add on
only,
to Bat Sauce's
I
point,
like-
to add on to Bat Sauce's point, the brand of sacrifices are at random. They're not one position, one marking.
Well, I don't know if they are random. Probably get into that next time, but because does that happen in this volume? The
Yes,
markings?
they get branded all.
Well, they get marked very specifically, honestly. But before that, show the image of the angels again.
Yeah.
So if you remember, they I don't remember if it was like 4 or 5 angels, which is kind of hard to tell if it is exactly 4 or 5 angels in this. And then, are they talking about the God Hand? Are they talking about the elemental forces? Are the elemental forces
Bat Sauce.
the same?
The reason why I'll say it's the God Hand, because I don't
Yeah.
even think he came out with the 4 elemental kings.
I don't know. I feel like they might be tied together. Like, I know this is really far into it, but
what, like the opposing forces of like chaos and order kind of thing.
exactly. Like there's a theory that they might be like one and the same.
Well,
Just
like,
throw it out there.
Mura is the kind of guy who would look at a story by Michael Moorcock and be like, "Yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's."
Also, what was the Christian story? This one that's straight up based on, like the earthquakes and stuff. Calamity destroying the city.
The temple is destroyed in the New
No,
Testament.
this was an
when Jesus
entire
dies.
town. It's in the Bible.
Yeah. I
Oh,
can't remember who.
you're comparing it to Sodom and Gomorrah?
I
No,
thought
not.
that too.
There's a lot
Sodom
of
and
biblical
Gomorrah.
things.
I think I forgot the other name of it. It's another story where God struck it down with earthquakes.
Babel?
Anyways,
No.
just noticed that when I was reading it. I was like, oh yeah. But anyways, the kingdom. This was over 1,000 years ago when this happened. All that's left is that bottom place you saw. Everyone who goes down there evidently doesn't return.
I like how
check
any fantasy story, if you go back in time far enough, is just Greece.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Oh, also Charlotte couldn't make it all the way down. Guts had to literally pick her up and fucking carry her on her back.
Yeah, she's a dainty princess walking around in that heavy dress all day.
Also,
Tough work.
Guts just notices a shadow and he's like, it must be my imagination. It must have been the wind, And then goes into the
Must
Pesky
have been
winds.
rats.
yeah.
Must
then
have
they
been
go-
the wind.
Yeah, they fucking unlock the door and they find Griffith. What's left of him?
You don't want to
Dude's not
know.
doing well. Oh, you got to show the actual scene of.
Kind of looks like somebody we saw earlier in the series.
Kind of.
Otter.
What, you
gotta
really want
show
me
the
to show some man cheeks on here?
There's no
Ooh.
nudity. Come on.
Clap them cheeks.
You gotta actually
Come
show
on.
because you gotta show how.
Give me the
extreme this
cheeks.
fucked up.
I mean, technically, he is in the nude, but on the other hand, there's not much really left of him.
Let me see if I can
Yeah.
find it.
He's had his tendons cut out on his arms and legs, and he can't
So
use
he
them.
can't
He's
even-
He's
The
not
magic-
in a good state.
he looks like a World War II
So,
survivor.
Let me
Missing
say, when
patches of
what-
skin.
when you hear people say the term "a shell of them former selves," does not even begin to describe Griffith.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're not even
and
approaching.
also Griffith Guts unlocks the thing to Griffith and Judo look at it like freaked out and they're like, all right, put it back on.
Kafka is
helmet?
about to step forward, and Guts is just like, "No, get away! Don't look."
Even
stay away.
emancipated, his dong is bigger. Wait, no.
He doesn't
what?
have a dong, as we'll prove later. Griffith
Yes, I
doesn't
know.
have a penis. It was proven
He's
at the
having
beginning
a
of
bad
Golden Age.
time.
Now it's going to be proved towards the end of Golden Age. He has no penis. Where was the clip from Ghostbusters? Yes, sir. This man has
This man has no dick.
Yes, sir. This man has no dick. Also,
Otter,
hail
Otter, why is
Maji-chan
it
in the
when you
chat.
say that, Otter, why is it when you say
So-
that you sound like a phone recording voice? Yes, sir.
Do you
This man
think
has
Griffith
no
was
dick.
trying to
Yes,
choke
sir.
Guts because he thought Guts was an hallucination?
No, he was trying to choke Guts because he hates
Yeah,
Guts.
but I don't entirely believe that because when Guts swiped his hand away, he actually grabbed Guts' hand and held it.
No, I
Yes,
think
you
he.
fool.
Wait, do you have the panel?
Yeah,
I think
do.
he was honestly trying to kill Guts because he believes Guts killed his dream.
Also, just to satisfy you, Billy
Oh
Bobsack,
man,
Yes.
just to show how fucked up of a state Griffith is in.
But,
he'll be
we get that.
fine.
At
And
least
then
they
we
get
laid
over
him
it.
down.
Jailer.
At least they laid him down in a comfortable position. Imagine not being able to move your arms and legs, and then they just put you in a really awkward kink.
So the jailer closes the door on them, and then he's gloating, and he runs through all the stuff he's done to Griffith over the years, and he shows Griffith's tongue that he cut out and he sucks on.
So he's got the same look that he gives everyone that he's like, I'm going to kill you. We go back to the
yes.
panel. I guess I don't think I've noticed that before. I guess was he holding his hand?
Also, he was 100% violating Guts in a sexual way when he's
Oh, yeah.
literally referring to him as
He's
man
sucking
and
on
wife.
the tongue that he cut out. Yeah, I assume
Yes.
there's something more to that.
Well, he was calling Griffith him man and wife as well.
Yeah,
so
some
cool.
pretty uncomfortable analogies being made.
And Griffith can't even say no.
But the best part is where Guts is like, hey, did you do this to Griffith? He's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's my greatest creation. Are you happy?
Also, what
Man,
a
something like
disgusting-
out of a Stephen King novel, man.
And Guts reacts rather sensibly.
Okay,
Oh,
so
what,
when
oh
Guts
no, what
does
happened
this,
to the door?
yeah, when Guts does this, he's like, you don't get mad. You can't break through this door. It's 3 times as thick as a normal one. And then Guts just plows right the fuck through it.
My
Also,
sword
I
is
thought-
3 times thicker.
I have the longest sword. Did I not tell you?
And
is
also
this
when
me? Is
Guts
that
has,
guy too? I thought that guy was bigger than he was.
And this is
Really
only
small.
me at half mast.
Nah, he
But
has to
when
like
Guts-
crawl up a thing to see look through the window.
yeah, when Guts slices through him, he has him go all the way down the blade, and then he tells him, you ain't going to heaven with 2 tongues, and then cuts the fucking jailer's tongue out. And then he comments that his breath stinks and he's definitely going to hell before dropping him in the fucking precipice.
It's like it's one of Guts's coldest lines that he does, but it's so gratifying at the same time for how
Well, it's-
fucked up this
yeah.
jailer is.
It's because Guts
Fucking-
doesn't really say he doesn't really talk during combat very often, if ever. And so it's a weird. It's not really combat, but it's still he's not one to get in that line while he's doing the kill most of the time.
Oh, yeah. The jailer also mentioned that he called the guards as well and that they were marching on him. And then Guts just tells them to, keep up.
Guts is like
And then-
arousal intensifies. Fighting is on its way.
This is my favorite fight of this deluxe volume because it is black swordsman fucking level of violence minus the
Is-
Dragon Slayer, of course.
Is this the first
Yeah.
time he goes rage mode?
It's the first time you get to see him go rage mode, but he's has his full capabilities, so he's really able to
mean-
slice through people like it's
No, I
nothing.
think this is like the first time like he becomes like hate. Like I guess the first time like the dark. You know what I mean? Like the
where he has the demon
darkness.
face and he's
Yeah.
scarier than anything.
Thing.
We've had panels earlier before with him with the Beast of Darkness look.
What?
Where he's had the glowing eyes and shit in his panels and his murderous.
I have a couple Beast in Black songs playing through my head.
The
whenever
100
I
Man
look at
Slayer
these.
battle has some panels like that.
A few, but not quite. to
Yeah,
the
but he
same
wasn't-
degree.
Yeah, he wasn't like in a rage, right? Like this is like you see his face right here. It's like cold murder, like blood murder. It's like he was almost like to an extent he was almost enjoying the 100-man slaying thing. He's like, give me your best shot, you know?
Yeah, this is like my third shift at McDonald's, and I'm a manager living in my parents' basement kind of look right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
same
anyway,
Me
still,
cutting
I
through the
love this
line to get a
fight.
Big Mac.
Yeah.
I just love this fight that he fucking stabbed the dude and then picked him up and then slammed the other fuckers and killed him.
No,
This
no,
dude
you
I
got,
love.
no. I got to read the build up to this panel. So we have a panel earlier, and the guards are out front of the tower, and they know that the band the Hawk are fighting up. So they go, "The captain, sir, the band the Hawk means that 100-man killer. Simpleton, you really think the captain of the Raiders would perform this rescue himself? Besides, you know that's a story that happened in the confusion of battle and has gotten exaggerated. Think about it. Where in the world is there anyone who could cut down 100 armed soldiers at the most, a dozen or so?" And then the next panel's this.
Allow
Yes.
me to introduce myself.
And we just had the sound effect. Whop.
Let me just say I love
Best
the
sound
weapon
effect.
variety in this manga. Like he's using like a really old fashioned spear, like fork. Like those were used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Boys,
smashed
the
kablamo.
how is every armor so unique and different looking?
Yeah.
Like even minor bad guys like this who don't survive. Look at his armor.
They're highly
Awesome.
detailed.
Well, look at his brain flying at the fucking
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, that's also of note.
Please note how guts is now surgically removed, not part of, but the entirety of this man's brain, all intact, no less. Very impressive.
It turns out that Guts is an excellent neurosurgeon.
Yes.
They should
but
use these in,
Guts-
in anatomy books.
Guts is tearing through this, and then we get we cut back to like the soldiers on the top part fixing to shoot them with the crossbow, all of them. And then the king, they just get shot with arrows from behind, and the king's like, "You fucking retards. Princess Charlotte's there, you know. Why would you risk her and all this shit?"
Guts is like, another volley.
Not my
Just one more.
princess.
Oh my god, Lord. Like I said, this is black swordsman level of violence.
Also, look at this two-page
Behold.
spread.
Oh,
Beautiful,
bro, it's so
Beautiful carnage.
Even Casca's like, calm down, it's too much. He's already dead.
Guts!
Stop, he's already dead.
Leave him alone.
Oh my
Dude's
And
eye
here's the
just
thing,
hanging from it.
guys. The art gets better.
I know.
Yeah.
Keeps improving.
Imagine being like some guys in the next group and you see this happen. And you're like,
By the way,
I regret.
what year were we up to in publication? What, 95 by this point? 1995?
Yeah, it was somewhere in the 90s was Golden Age.
My God,
Right
we have
after
almost
I was
another
born.
30 years. Oh my God.
No
With a
wonder
lot
it
of
took him so
hiatus.
no wonder it took him so long to finish it or like get as
Oh
far
my-
as he got.
Okay, all right, this is a little
Well-
off topic, but I showed Otter, I showed Frederick a Millennium Falcon non-spoiler one. It's the one with the fucking ballroom castle.
Oh yeah.
And
How about
Frederick is like, "Do you want me to just like give up on drawing?"
was that one like the tiger thing?
I think that's what he's
Before-
talking
Yeah.
about.
I didn't
oh,
show him
or-
the tiger one, but I showed him the opening shot of
Right.
that.
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
That's
what
where
I
you
figured.
really start to see Mura go full ham with the architecture.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's
But I showed Frederick that one and showed him also the castle scene.
And then
Marvel.
there's one of the cities in Fantasia, which I will not mention here because it is spoilers.
Also,
What is
we need to show the king because the crossbows men were fixing to shoot Charlotte
Oh,
and all
God.
them.
He's
And then
not
the king
looking well.
stops them.
Yeah.
And well,
because Griffith stole his dream.
He's
Yeah, but
not
then,
aged well over the last year.
he's also
For-
wheezing
I'll-
when he's talking. By the way, he's going. Griffith. Look,
I'll be honest. First time I saw this, I thought he might have been transforming into a demon. I was like,
wait.
No one just looks like
I think
this.
there's something to that though.
Okay, can I I want to say something.
What?
Charlotte has rogue titties from
Rogue
X-Men.
titties? Oh,
Yeah,
From
rogue
X-Men?
titties. Yeah.
what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, what happens to you when you kiss Rogue?
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Look what happened to the king.
The two men who oh Jesus.
Yeah, the two men who fucking tried, or one succeeded, the other one luckily did not succeed.
It's like one.
Worse
It's like
for us.
you see here. You see a set of tits. I see the gates of hell.
Yep, and then he's really pissed at Griffith because he sees Griffith on Pippin's shoulders, and Griffith is also in Guts's cloak, wrapped around. But he wants them to summon the Baki Raka, and the Baki Raka are Kushan's assassin league.
And they are rather interestingly proportioned.
Yes, and they're not apostles.
The designs were questionable for me.
Believe it or
no, I
not,
love
these
it.
guys are actually kind of pushovers.
Yeah. Well,
I know,
so it'll make
I don't know
sense.
if I loved. I didn't love their designs.
The what, Bat
Is that
Sauce?
Gollum on his one man shoulder?
It'll make sense.
They
Question.
make sense for what you learn about the Baki Raka later.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be fucking weird.
Yeah.
What are they, inbred?
No, probably worse. So, question: does the king appear after this ever again in the story?
Yeah,
I don't think so, right?
What-
Yeah, he
Are you
does.
talking about after this chapter?
He does. Well,
He appears
after
after
the Golden Age.
he appears after the eclipse at the beginning of Conviction, just for a little
Yeah.
bit, not much.
That's in the Revelation chapters, but he does appear one more time after this with
Because he's close to his greatest moment of despair. So I don't know. My memory's fuzzy, but yeah, I don't know. Just
Oh yeah,
thoughts.
then the bitch gets fucking poisoned. There's that too.
yeah, Bat Sauce. That's in Conviction, right after Lost Children is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, he wants
In
to
the
say something.
Revelations. But anyways,
Anyways,
More fodder
Guts
for
and them
Guts.
go back into the tunnels.
more guts carnage.
Man, there's just some really weird fuckers trying to kill them. One's who's hanging on the walls and shit. We
Yeah,
have the
they've got,
little
like,
one
really
swimming in the water.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, I love
haha,
how they
you
get
can't reach
killed,
me
by
up
the way.
here.
Haha!
I love
I've
that
also
they get-
watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
I'm gonna scratch you.
Just stay down there, boys. It's like, oh wait, Guts' sword is really long. Actually, look at Guts' sword. He could reach it in a very sensitive area.
Well, don't worry, he really fast. Okay.
Don't
Oh,
worry,
yeah,
Mr. Baki Raka,
he-
sir.
he-
You're not going to have to worry about having children anymore.
He's
Yeah.
really fast. He's now a rady boy.
He has the bulge of a Rady boy.
Oh God.
So,
All the pain
anyways,
has
we
no
also
shape.
have a little swimming one that tries to stab Casca and she blocks it. Guts blocks the fucking hanging one.
Be very,
Oh,
very
also
quiet.
oh,
I'm hunting Baki
before that-
Raka.
Yeah, before that, the king gave him a command to kill all of them and bring Griffith's head. Also, do not harm a single fucking hair on Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah.
They-
No, what I love about this part is like it's
Mission
the
failed
first.
successfully.
It's the first look into the Berserk magic system, which is kind of dope. It's very soft magic though.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Berserk's way of doing magic. It's never quite the same each time you see it. There's like an element of chaos to it, which just makes it really fun to follow.
Well, I think that's how magic kind of should be.
I
There should be
agree.
elements of
There is no
chaos.
should be with
The
magic.
the unknowable aspect of it.
There-
We
you want
get
to
a
have
lot of
some
explanation
aspect
out of
that's sort of unknowable, I guess.
Here's the thing. I mean, do we want to go ahead and explain the magic system? Because it isn't until Millennium Falcon do you even get the full introduction to this.
It's called
Yeah.
well, because that magic's much different than this magic. I mean, it's the same but different.
It's questionable
it's-
at this point whether they're even using magic or not.
Well, there's not.
Well, anyways,
So, yeah.
You're using the human spirit.
Anyways, this little tiny baby muscle fuck crawls out, and Charlotte notices, and he shoots poison dart at Griffith, and she jumps in the way, hits her in the arm. No consequences.
Well, except that he
also-
quite literally dies a panel or two later.
Oh yeah, I don't. Okay,
Is it
do
a
you have
poison
that
dart?
page? I don't. It wasn't a good enough page of how he managed to hit the. I didn't really see how he hit him with the sword, the little midget. When
It's kind of just he swings his sword, the midget guy just kind of cackles before falling into the water in two halves.
But anyways, the
Normal.
fucking climbing dude says, "Hey, we got the antidote for that. We'll take her and her handmaiden. And then
Also, Charlotte is so flat. I'm amazed that she was able to use her thin body to block that shot. It's an amazing accuracy.
I mean, it's a little tiny dart.
At the same time, you could knock Charlotte over with a stiff breeze.
Yes,
Or a stiff. Anyway.
poor
moving on.
Charlotte. Anyways, Guts and Casca make that trade over, and so she goes with the female Baki Raka member.
Bucky Rucka.
Bucky
Sounds like a
Raka.
weird. It sounds like a weird thing, like a foreign metal band would like growl in the middle of their the breakdown of their song. Bucky Rucka. Bucky Rucka.
I
and they're
really hope this
really-
guy ends up being one of the band members.
Well, before that, they're really targeting Griffith, and Casca and Guts are having to defend with Pippin and stuff. And then this fucker just throws a goddamn javelin like
Oh!
it's Sonic.
Yo.
He's like launching javelins at extremely high velocity down this tunnel.
Oh, he's got one of those
Yeah,
tools.
that-
Yeah.
those tools are meant for javelins, the smaller spears. But he's so fucking yoked up. He's like, I'll do it with a fucking one that you would launch out of a machine most of the time.
Yeah, but Guts blocks them, and then Judo's like, all right, before they're like, we need to turn out the light because it's a target for us. And they're like, well, we can't do that because the top dude and the fucking swimming dude will immediately pounce and attack. But Judo gets an idea where he sees the sparks are coming off of the javelin. So he uses his little throwing knives to see where he is and tells Pippin to prepare to hit the wall when he tells him. And then fucking...
You know what I like about this? Like, up until this point, what have we really seen the inner members of the Band of the Hawk do in a fight? Very little. This is really the first time we see them kind of show some of their skill.
Especially some of the minor characters like Judo.
Yeah, I wish we had more judo.
Judo is such a Chad in this entire
No.
story.
He's a very good fighter and he's loyal to the Band of the Hawk. Nothing will go wrong. He will be fine.
Yes,
Perfectly fine.
I got the
Yeah,
book
no-
open with the baby thing getting sliced in half. So essentially, he jumps through the air, tries to jump away, but Gus does one of these things and just
I didn't feel the illustration with the sword because I didn't feel like it betrayed him like his actual sword swing going off.
It was
I
kind
think
of a
you're right,
weak
yeah.
sense of motion there.
agree.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just one of the little things.
Oh, and Guts blocks
Also,
the giant
what's-
spear with his sword.
Yes,
Also,
blocks
look at
everything
This guy's
with his sword.
Look at this guy's nut face when he gets stabbed with the little throwing knife. Oh my chest. Oh.
but Pippin
Throwing
tells-
javelins is like calming. I'm calming day and night.
Yeah. By the way, this is
Coming when I'm at
actually
work.
my favorite death.
I wanted to make that Arnie joke. It's so out of place, but I love it.
This is my favorite kill scene in this fucking manga so far. Is Judo immediately tells Pippin to hit the wall, and then it sparks up, and then Guts and Casca are ready to strike the frog dude, and then the dude on the above him or whatever, and Guts just eviscerates the dude's face, cuts it completely in half.
And Casca takes care of the.
What does that guy do? He's hanging down like a little spider. He's like, "Hey,
I'm here to
Don't notice
scratch you.
hey guys, you like my Wolverine claws? Distinctly not Marvel." Anyway,
Oh, do you got the death panel? where he cuts the dude's head.
I
in half.
actually
Oh
don't.
man, I do.
You gotta show that one, or have fucking bat saws pull it up.
Also,
Yeah,
I just noticed this. Why is he wearing a thong? Why
Your
is
screen.
Guts wearing a thong while he's fighting?
Good to see
Anyone else see that?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
I
he
can
cuts
see
the
it
dude's
too.
completely face in half. And then Guts is such a fucking bro pal. He actually compliments Judo and says, "Good fucking thinking." Yeah, solid for him.
He
It's
looks over.
not.
Sometimes fight smart better than fight hard. Very good. Ooga, ooga.
And that's how we finish up the Baki Raka. They were here for 2 chapters.
No,
Oh, except
Not
that
yet.
the entire tunnel starts going up in flames.
Oh, well,
Yeah, hot booby
specifically,
lady.
they start smelling something, and then Pippin's like, "Oh, got to get the fuck out," and then they're running
Run.
away.
Yeah, and there's this
And then
strange
Griffith-
lady showing her tits that just
Yeah.
kind of bumps her wrists together, and the ringlets on there just end up igniting the gas.
well, and she's got
Also-
like 100 pouches of something. Like
Also,
wrapped
I
around
forgot
her.
to mention, but Griffith has been looking pretty evil when he's noticing
Pow.
something between Guts and Casca. Like before they get to this part, Casca was wiping off the blood on Guts and shit off of him before he killed all those knights.
Griffith is
That's
like,
before
my
we get-
girl.
But
Fucking say
you know.
so.
Just another day.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Pippin
but-
just smashes a hole through the ceiling to
Business as
Well,
usual.
Griffith points out, nodding at him, and somehow Pippin notices that there's moonlight coming above. Because if the fire caught up with them, it's not just they're going to get burned; their lungs are going to get incinerated as well because they have that powder stuff in them, the dust or whatever, in their lungs. The flame goes out. I like the next page where you just see the outside of the city and a little flame pop up.
I am glad that it's not like an American comic like The Flash. It's like, man, the bad guys are winning again. What will he do? He will run faster
yeah.
every single time. It's like if Guts is able to solve every problem with just him swinging his sword harder, it would get boring. Luckily, they do
Christian,
mix it up a little bit.
you do know that's most of Guts' journey is just hit harder.
I know, but there is
Some
more.
tactic
There
hit
is
harder.
more.
No,
Find a
it's-
way to hit harder. That's his
I
tactic.
disagree with that. I think
He
there's
also
a good
gets
amount
the
of tactics
crossbows and the
sprinkled in there.
cannon, and he
Yeah.
eventually
That was
like
his
learns how
tactic
to
with with another character I can't mention. His tactic was just hit harder.
It's a pretty good tactic for anyone who hasn't been in a street fight.
Yeah.
Worked pretty well for Guts.
Well, the
Most
one
of the time.
the way he took down a specific flying girl, that was very tactical, awesome, everything, loved it.
Are you talking about the first scene, the tactical fuck, or is that a different thing?
No.
No, this is actually later on.
I know what he's talking about.
The moth.
Bat soft.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh.
saying that he doesn't have any tactics. I'm just saying all his tactics end in is hit harder. It's him to get to the point where he can hit him really hard with his sword.
He was tactical in the opening scene of the manga.
Hitting
Tactical in
hard
scene
with the
you're
sword
talking-
is the release, you know?
Even the scene you're talking about is just to get where he can hit her with the sword hard.
He's like, I
It's kind of
stabbed
like
her with
One
my
Punch
sword,
Man.
and then
It's
I-
not about the punch. It's how you get to the one punch
Yes.
that really matters.
It's ironically the worst panel of the entire manga.
Which one?
The first. The very first panel is the worst
Oh.
panel of the entire manga.
Which
And
manga?
that,
A
This one.
Berserk.
Where he's banging the fucking demon chick?
Yeah, it's
I
like
like
it's,
Listen, he
it's
had
funny.
to hit harder.
It's enjoyable, but like it makes zero sense.
In
Out of
order-
any panel.
in order
No,
to
no, no,
hit
no, no.
hard,
It
he had to
actually
get
does
hard.
make sense. And here's how I'm going to defend it. What's more preferable? Banging this demon chick to where she's putting her guard down, or fighting life and death for it?
It's good. Well, come on, it's Guts. He'd fight like
No, when Guts is relating this story to others, he's like, I stabbed her with my sword, and then I drew my
Yes.
weapon.
When his
Then
strategy
I
ever
stabbed her
not
with
been-
my sword, then I stabbed her with my actual sword.
And then I
He
killed her
didn't
with
stab her
Dragon
with the sword.
Slayer.
He blew her fucking head off.
When
that's
is his
right, yeah.
plan never murder them as hard as he can?
He did murder as hard as he can.
Yeah, but
He doesn't murder softly. He murders hard.
He murdered
Just
her
like
so
everything else.
hard that he blew her head off.
it makes no sense.
But it does.
That's us. You're just a
It does
hater.
make
You're
sense.
you're sitting there on your moral high seat, telling yourself.
No, it's very obviously he's in his beginning. He's just trying to write an edgy scene to attract people. It works.
I
He's
think
also trying to
he's
bust-
doing that. I think he's doing that as a way of like it's a like rite of passage. It's like if you can't handle this, nothing you cannot handle the rest of
Wait,
this.
Sure.
bad
Speaking of
song.
edgy
Sure.
scenes, we're about to get in some edgy as fuck bits.
Oh,
But
Jesus
bad song.
Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. It does make sense because it's the author trying to tell you why he has the name Guts.
Because he's all up in them.
All right. Anyways,
It's like
back
you
to it.
You want to know why? You really want to know why they call me the Black Swordsman?
All right. Anyway, back to it. We cut to the Kushan chick getting stabbed, and she's getting stabbed because Charlotte got hurt, and he warned the Bakiraka not a fucking single scratch. But
And then she tried
Charlotte,
to light her on fire.
yeah, Charlotte is actually trying to tell like the king, like, hey, like he can't fucking walk, he can't talk, like you tortured him for a year in darkness, like Jesus fuck, let him go. Please.
Leave him alone.
She
You are
calls
right,
him
though.
father.
It's time
then-
to stop.
She does magically have clothes appear on her.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was just her putting. I just didn't like how it didn't make sense. Like she came back and did that, but like, did she leave the fucking maid and Charlotte in the toilet water, and then get
Right.
back? I don't know. Anyways, she's dead, and we have Charlotte asking, to let Griffith go, and then the king says, "Sure." And then she leaves, and then the king's like, "Oh. Yeah, summon the fucking black dogs."
And just for those of you who aren't aware of what the Black Dog Knights are, here's a hint. Yeah, this is their leader.
All right. I have
Good
to
question.
set the scene.
Why does he look like me?
Hold on, I have to set the scene.
Oh
for
no!
This isn't Wild's introduction, by the way. Before this,
I am not showing Wild's introduction.
I'm not saying you have to show. I'm gonna tell.
Question.
He is
Question.
banging like 19 or he's banging like fucking 10 chicks in this room.
Yeah.
And his little tiny second in command comes and is like, "Hey, we got orders." And then Wild's telling him to shut up and he don't interrupt.
This scene
him.
right here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
He's
Wait,
like
so-
Will,
command
he's
says,
like Will
"Oh."
Ferrell in the porter potty. Like, if it's a rockin', don't come a knocking.
But anyways, the second in command is like, "Oh, but we have to go after, like, it's a king's order, and we have to go after Griffith, the leader of the Band of the Hawk." And then he's like, "Oh, that's funny, because yeah, I had like business I was supposed to do with him today, with Griffith." Then he
Not
gets
weird.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me stop my business to get to business.
He's like, speaking
And then-
of getting up.
This is volume 10. I think this is the end of volume 10, Stone Castle. And we start volume 11, in which we get the backstory to Wild.
So,
In
question.
which the
question.
king.
Question. So, do we think that him being the leader of the Black Dogs is somewhat related to the fact that Guts is like inner demon is a black dog?
Well, they don't. Well, hold up. Christian and them don't know that yet.
No, well, you know a little bit about that.
Too
We
late
don't learn
now.
about any of that.
It's
Well,
not really
don't learn
something that's
anything.
hinted at
Watch
until
one.
later on. There's a lot of comparisons to Guts and dogs throughout this
Yeah.
entire manga, though.
There are. I've noticed a couple actually.
Yeah, I mean, you see the armor suit, right? Like everybody's seen the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oilers.
Anyways,
Well, shit. Do y'all care for it? I mean, it's not a big spoiler.
I mean, we don't have
Guts
to go into
has-
details about that. It's just he's got a like. It's
a
like
dog
his-
is Guts' spirit animal.
Yeah.
and it's a really bad dog.
Yeah.
Well, it's his innermost like violence and need for destruction.
Right. Which
It-
also,
It's a direct result of his actions through future and some past events to where they're arguably so heinous that it kind of manifests itself.
so re-looking at this, I kind of never put that together. Like it almost feels very intentional. The first, like that Wild is the black dog going after him, right? Or am I just looking into it too hard?
I mean, there was something there probably.
I'm willing to bet that's kind of like it's introducing the idea. It doesn't feel like there's a direct correlation, but it feels like it's starting to kind of like throw in the idea of Guts, Black Dog. Maybe there might be a comparison somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
It's like imagine Guts confronting a big black dog. Imagine.
Yeah, it's just a hypothetical. But let's go with that thought.
It's a hypothetical. I will slap across your chin over and over again until you get it. Anyway.
All right. Sorry for that.
Anyways.
Yeah. Really bad.
Anyways, Griffith's not doing too well right now. He's having some rather bitter memories as they begin making their way outside.
Hold up, before
when
that,
I thought he was just hallucinating. Maybe that's just me though.
hey, before that, talk about Wild's backstory when the King's reflecting on the first time he met him.
Yeah, so the Black Dog Knights, they have sort of a reputation. They're a night squadron formed out of criminals. And through the influence of Wild quickly rising to the top, it ended up becoming a rather infamous group of knights for doing some rather unwholesome things at any point when they entered a battle. To the point where whenever they would be deployed, the king would just send them very far off so that they would kind of fuck off while
Yeah,
the rest of the armies were actually doing work.
Yeah, he kept him away from the main army and the frontiers. Also, the one dude he fights, he leads through his charisma of fear. That's Wild charisma.
My favorite.
He throws the fucking one dude he's challenging on the top of the building, the spike thing, and the king was like, "Yeah, that dude fucking scares me, so I keep him away from me as far or as much as possible."
I mean, to be fair, if your leader looks like this, I think you're gonna keep in line.
But yeah, we get that scene with the village girl telling Griffith and giving her the flowers, and she dressed up and her brother's playing. And then we immediately cut to Wild showing up and asking her, has she seen Griffith? And she's shaking in fear. And then he's like, well, I got to get my juices flowing, I guess, before getting back on the search. And we cut immediately to the grape scene.
Aggressive, non-consensual copulation.
Yeah, they're graping the women. They've burned the children. They cut off the father's head and nailed it to a post.
Burning the women, raping the churches.
Yep, and then we start the next chapter. Oh, they just noticed something's coming up. Oh, that's right. Wild has the one girl with her legs cut off, her arms cut off.
Hey, look, it's the farm family we met earlier. Man, they're riding really high today.
They're looking a little pale. Oh.
Oh.
Why is she nude?
No.
Oh, the styles of these simple country folk.
And then
Prolific as the wind.
And then Casca's really pissed, of course. Like, she just noticed that the family's fucking dead. And all this stuff. And violently dead. So Guts and Pippin are doing a tag team fighting the Black Dogs. And they're...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're shredding them up. And then Wild
throws... And then Wild shows up.
Yeah, Wild throws...
Mr. Monkey Man shows up.
Wild throws the chick, the spear with the chick on it at Guts.
Make it fun. Make it stimulating.
Yeah, Guts fucking deflects it and cuts off the head, and then he notices it's her, the little girl from before. And then Guts is like, yeah. because Wild's like, I want to play or whatever. No, you're a
most-
lively one.
Small tangent, but the most heartbreaking bit of that reality is moments before this terrible stuff happens. One of the daughters is putting on like her nice clothes to actually impress the mercenaries coming on through.
Yes.
Well, maybe she did. Maybe it's her fault. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, she shouldn't have
Oh,
dressed
boy.
that way, Otter.
She was asking for it. No.
Oh God!
The Kahuna.
Oh no!
Victim
But-
blames.
Guts,
Kahuna gets canceled.
but Guts tells Wild that, hey, yeah, I'll fucking play, and then goes to swing his sword, and then Wild just catches his hand and is just holding him with it. And
He's
starting
just
to
like,
try-
surprise, motherfucker.
He's like, oh, what are you gonna do
Ah,
now?
motherfucker.
It's
This is like,
Pippin.
I will swing harder.
Well, he can't swing at all because Wild's got his head. He can't move. And then Pippin's the one who comes in to help get him. And then they
What
run
is it?
off because, oh, by the way, before that, when he's talking with Casca, he says, I won't do the same thing I used to do. I know when to retreat. Like, I'm not going to fight until, death's door or shit.
Yeah. Well, he goes, it's
Oh.
the same, and you see an image of a
Also, him
of
saying
Skull
safe.
Knight and Zod.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Zod.
Also,
And
Guts
he's
was...
like, oh shit.
Yeah, when Guts was slaughtering his men, Guts was like, something's not fucking right with these people. Like, they're not even like flinching when we're bashing in their heads and shit. It's like, oh, well, there's fear in their eyes.
Guts
Like-
is sitting there like, they normally scream more.
Like, they're more afraid of him than they are of us.
Yeah.
Of his,
To be fair, like, it's like that meme, like, the worst you can do is say no, and then it's way, way worse. It's like, that's Guts killing them versus, someone else.
But
Versus
Guts and Pippin and them, they make it across the bridge because Costco was setting up. They had a trap there to blow up the bridge, and then Wild just fucking goes through and manages to survive. And he has read that fucking dialogue at the bottom where he's like, "Safe. Well, most of us." Oh
So
well,
I say, but a lot of them sure fell. Oh well, come on, you dogs, let's go.
like
Just
You know what the-
doesn't give a fuck.
I saw this video recently. There were maybe a couple thousand ducks, and they are being herded across this bridge in Australia. And
Your
then-
audio is really fading out, Kahuna.
Oh, okay. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
There are these ducks going across this bridge in Australia. They were being herded, and the ducks, because they were too impatient, kept on pushing each other off the bridge. It's like, oh, it's fine. They're falling into a river. Oh, those look like crocodiles. Oh no.
Oh no.
Like as soon when I was reading this, I'm like, that reminded me of that.
so. I love this part. His all his men like stop, and he's like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And they're like, "Hey, there's a mountain there, and if they set up that trap, they're setting up all kinds of traps." And he's like, "Your point?" And then he takes his fingers to his second in command, and then squashes his fucking head in.
Yeah, not very pleasant.
Yeah, and then he tells his man, he says, "Well,
Got your noggin.
yeah," he says, "Well, this is the problem with grown-ups. Once they start thinking of life and death, they don't do well. You know."
You end up wasting your
Yeah,
life
you end up
away.
wasting your life. Which, by the way, when we get to the reveal of what he used to be, this kind of gives us context clues to kind of why he turned into an apostle.
Yeah, you
What is this
get
character?
just little hints in there, here and there, of why he's an apostle in the first place, like what his philosophy of living is, just taken to the absolute comical extreme.
Yes.
Also,
Anyway-
why were
What?
Christian, I can't hear you.
every single member of the Black Dog?
I can't hear you.
Every single
God,
member.
every time you start explaining, that's when the audio just fades out.
That was
So-
fucking true.
They end up going through the mountain, and then the Band of the Hawks set up rock traps, and they're having boulders. And we also have the one dude he hears behind him get his head smashed in. He's like, nice sound. And then he punches a goddamn fucking boulder and breaks it.
Yeah. Wahoo!
And he's having the time of his life while he's doing this.
And then they set off a fire trap, and then Wild just catches the fire and blows it out through him. And now they're Guts is having to fight him.
Yeah, and you see, Wild, he still doesn't care. He's just like, yeah, let's play. Let's
Yeah,
have some fun.
He's fighting him with a fucking wood club.
And Wild is winning.
Oh yeah, and I love this fight. Like it shows how extreme like they're pushing it, where they're like him and Guts are fighting on their horse back and forth, and then Band of the Hawk members are getting killed by Wild, and then Guts is killing the dog members through their fight. Their 2-page spread and shit.
Yeah, I don't have the 2-page spread on me at the moment. Let me see if I can find it.
It's where you know what I'm talking about, where they're going so fast, and then Judo and Casca are watching, and they're like, "Holy fuck, it's like a whirlwind."
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
They're just eviscerating shit. And then Casca and them are leading the charge. I think I'm trying to remember. Corcus also shows up with the rest of the Band of the Hawk members.
I'm showing a thing on my screen.
Oh, let me take this away.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
God, I love. No. You got to show the other one where they're going through the group of people on their horses. We're just.
Oh, that's back a little bit, right?
I think it's a little bit forward, or it might be a little bit back. I love that too. Basically.
There's a bunch of big ass spreads because there's this one. I mean, this is where they're just like clashing.
Yeah, that's not the. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's they're like both on the horses and they're heading towards the left hand side, coming towards us on the panel. Either way, it looks great. Where the people around them are getting killed. But what happened? Oh, yeah, we end up getting the fight, and the black dogs are getting their ass handed to them, and then they're about to retreat, and then Wild just finds a tree, and then fucking breaks it, and then lands it on his troops because they're trying to run away. And then the one dude saying, "I don't want to, what was it? Enjoy and excite anymore." And then Wild just throws his fucking club at the dude's head. And he says, "Yeah, this is why y'all die in dumb ways."
Well, now we have Casca riding in the short bus. Oh, not anymore.
There we go. Also,
and this is one of the parts where you feel really bad for Casca.
Can you get the page where he throws the fucking club at the dude's head?
Let me see if I can find it.
Is that before he transforms?
Yes, it's before he transforms. It's like right after the tree scene where he knocks the tree on his head. And he says, "Yeah, this is why y'all die in dumb ways."
When he punches the tree or whatever?
After he punches the tree, the one dude's like, "I don't want to enjoy and excite anymore. No more, no more." And he just throws the fuck. This is like right before he transforms. And his apostle.
No more enjoy. Say, I don't want to die. Oh yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Here, hold up. Let me take that thing off the screen, Otter.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, he throws the fucking club. Oh, and he also tells his men, "What's our motto?"
Bring it down a few inches, Bats. Bring it down a few inches.
Go down a little bit.
Down and a little closer.
Down and a little bit.
I can't because I don't know if the background's going to screw it up.
You're destroying this beautiful art.
Please. Fine, I'll take off the short bus, all right?
But all right. Take off it. There you go. Oh my God, you're not on the magical school bus? I just love how he throws it and fucking head explodes. Where's the dialogue?
Just look at the face imploding.
Go up a little bit.
Like a flat pancake.
Yeah.
Only moments before he's just saying, "I don't want to die," tears streaming down his face.
He's specifically saying, "No more, no enjoy your sight, no more."
Louis.
Go to the top one where he says, Where your finger's
one?
at? On the left-hand side. Yeah, that's that's why you guys can only die in dumb ways. What the fuck? It's so fucking great. But also he says, well, he's gonna start this party himself, and he begins to transform into his
Oh
apostle.
boy, the dark
His
humor.
true form.
Yeah,
And
and
I
his true form kind of. Yeah, I'll let it speak for itself.
Real
Yep,
monsters.
and then also Guts was being like, "This is Zod. This is the same as Zod in Skull Knight." The feeling he's getting and shit.
Like how he's almost like a
Guts-
mech pilot.
Yes.
There's like a weird element of it. It feels kind of like mecha in a sense with these apostle forms. You
Well,
see
it's like
the
always
original
leaves with-
bodies, but they're like morphed into these like demonic forms.
Well, they're all animal and insect based too, if you notice, except a few later on.
They're
Well, I feel
starting
like
to
it gives a
look psychedelic
uncanny
as
valley
well.
a little bit.
With all the
But-
eyes in different places as well. It's starting to look psychedelic, like they're looking like they're from the astral realm and not part of this world.
Ooh, good
Also,
point.
this was something I did not notice on rereading, but all of the demon eyes are also goat eyes.
Oh, true.
Oh, good catch.
Yeah, goats are very devil kind of symbolic.
Yeah, just in case we didn't hammer home already how messed up this guy is.
So, Wild bitch slaps Guts across the fucking thing and knocks Guts out for a bit. And then the Band of the Hawk, they have a funny part where they shoot him. And they're like, yep, just like Zod, it did nothing. And he's just tearing through the Band of the Hawk with the fucking tree trunk and then eating them during the battle. Casca's trying to wake up Guts, and then he finds Casca, Wild does, and picks her up like a toy.
Casca's really not helping the battle. She's distracting Guts by being naked, half naked everywhere.
Oh, well, hold up.
It turns out she's a little distracting to Mr. Wild as well, but for much more sinister reasons.
Before this,
He cannot
before
show
get-
you.
Yeah,
for
before
reasons.
you get to this
Trust us,
scene,
it's bad.
he says he asks Casca like he wants to go on a little dance with her. He picks up Casca and then tells her women don't look good in armor, but he also doesn't
Yo.
like dresses. And then
Was Attack on Titan, the Beast form, a little bit inspired by Wild?
I never thought of it until now, but I can see
Like,
it.
that looks very similar. But yeah.
I never
Well, he
thought of
rips
it.
off- Yeah, he rips off Casca's clothes, and then out of his mouth comes a fucking dick with spikes all over it. And well, you know this is fixing the
Little
head.
barbed penis.
But luckily, Guts wakes up and cuts this fucking mouth penis off. Evidently, he has two penises, by the way. He told her she couldn't handle the bottom one.
Now, I do have to pause, and I have a question. Why did Christian turn into a Frenchman?
Yeah, I was like, where'd Kahuna go?
Hi, Frederick. you just got
When did
jumped in
Frederick
here.
show up?
Sorry, I'm late. I double booked
you're good.
myself tonight.
No, you're good. It was just funny. One moment Christian was there in the corner, the next moment you were there.
Perfect time.
Here's the funny
Real
thing:
was.
he joined right in the Wild part of the story. But Guts cuts off Wild's penis. He also cuts him up and is like arm and leg to get drop Casca. Then he tells Casca that she needs to go. Like she's trying to stay there with him and fight, but he's like, "Nah, you need to get out of my way. Like for one, you're distracting me. The way you're looking." Because she's just fucking nude, basically, at this point, with little rags on.
It's basically she's barely clothed. Her
Yes.
her assets are showing, and there's barely any cover up at this point.
Well, the
And
things
they-
that are covered are not really.
Not really covered, and she's
Yeah.
still trying to fight. She's
You know what's also
to help out, even though it's really not a good idea with someone like this.
you know
It's
what's
like her
also
feet or
good
hands
about
are
this?
covered.
This also shows how much Guts has grown in like the year and a half since the meeting with Zod. Because Guts in there was just fucking pissing himself in fear of
Sure.
Zod. And this one, after that point where he kind of has that at the beginning of the fight, but at this point he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna kill this fucker."
We
He's
in
still
just a few pages we go from this to this.
Yes.
Yeah, he's back.
I will say this is because he kind of senses, though, he's not Zod. He's like, this guy's kind of chump change compared to Zod.
Yeah, he's fighting. He's also cutting the tendons on Wild and dropping him to the ground. He's using tactics. He uses the tactic you see in Black Swordsman, where he uses a corpse to look like he's there.
There's it's kind of a great way of going full circle because Zod is showing how helpless Guts can be at certain points, but Wild is there to kind of show that, yeah, over the last year, Guts has actually grown quite a bit. This is when he finally triumphs against an apostle.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he uses the tactic where he uses the bandit, and then Wild sees this and then does his wild chop on the fucking tree and the dude. And then Guts throws his armor, and then Wild punches it, and then he ends up stabbing, because also his sword is about to break as well. Forgot to mention. So he's got one shot at this. Wild manages to break off the tip of his sword with his hand after this, and then Guts stabs him in the fucking throat with the broken sword. And then grabs his little dagger and starts stabbing Wild in the chest and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal stuff, but at the same time, it's one of those scenes where you're just kind of on the edge of your seat the entire time.
Yeah, he stabs Wild in the fucking eye. Wild eventually knocks him out by hitting him into a tree in the back. But Guts is knocked out on the ground for a bit, and then Wild just smiles, and then just goes, "Ooh, blood," and then just sprays blood and passes out. They think they killed him.
They
so
think.
far. And then we get armor to
Always
heart.
cut the head off. Always
Yes.
make sure.
Always go
this
for the
chapter,
head.
And
We open
all
up
the
with
heads.
poor Charlotte. The maid is not even telling Charlotte that her father did send the black dogs after Griffith and them. And before the tunnel scene, Griffith says a word to, or mouths something off to Charlotte before she leaves, and then she's believing that Griffith said, "I promise I'll come back." That's what she believes.
I don't
Poor
know
Charlotte.
how she got
She's
that
delusional,
from a
man.
bunch of blah 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 because there is nothing
Well,
coming out of his mouth.
To be fair, she's 17 years old.
She was also
16.
kind of fainting from poison whenever she saw him move his lips.
Also, she sees out in the window. She sees a weird bat. It's
A
weird
bird?
bird.
A plane?
Yeah.
It's Superman.
Yeah,
Batman?
what
look
could
at
that
how
be?
super he is.
It's a bird.
Hail, Sybil. Welcome to the
So-
club.
We cut to Casca bandaging and sewing up Guts' wounds and shit, and then Guts is not having a fun time. Yeah. And then Casca is just berating the fuck out of him during this fight.
He just had his ribs crushed. He likely has a spleen ruptured, but yet he'll be fine.
Yes. And then Judo is also healing up. Oh, shit. We fucking missed it. Oh, no. We're fixing to come up on it. Never mind. Guts has a talk with Griffith and everything. Griffith
it's
can't
not-
even
yeah.
pick up the. I forgot to mention during the wild fight, Griffith tried to pick up a sword and couldn't do it.
Yeah, there's
He
a
was wanting-
sequence where he's like, I gotta help them. And his arm just falls over. It's just like
here's the weird
he
thing. Like,
again, a shell of his former self.
I also have to point out, like,
A husk. if you
we're
will.
done a really fucking good job of. We get little bits into Griffith's mind for right now, like just little tiny bits. And the one we got is all the emotions he feels on Guts. You got one moment where he's trying to choke him, but you also see him like still having like that, doesn't want to see Guts die or shit, when he's fighting Wild or being put in them positions. But anyways,
Anyways, how is Wild doing?
Well, hold up before. Oh, well, that's
No, that's next.
that's before Armor to Heart. That's before that chapter. That's towards the end of the other chapter where he's stabbing him and stabs him in the eye.
Anyways,
But-
how is Wild doing?
Yeah, he's screaming, "I don't want to die," and he doesn't. Oh, there's one thing: he doesn't have his behelit on him at all.
Griffith, yeah, he lost it.
Not Griffith, Wild.
Oh, wild.
Not sure. Well, wait.
Yeah, he doesn't have one, does he?
Yeah, because every apostle we see a little bit later on usually has their a behelit somewhere close.
Oh, he got the Slug Lord's pellet, right?
Guts doesn't have it yet.
Well, in
It's
the
in
Black Swordsman arc.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm just
So,
I was trying to
anyways,
remember what you
Wild. Before we get to that, we had Griffith and Guts having like their interaction, like the last kind of happy one where Guts puts on Griffith's armor for him and shit. You know, being like, "Oh, one day you'll get to use your sword again." But then Wild interrupts and then grabs Griffith because he knows he was ordered by Zod for one to get Griffith that day, anyways.
Yeah, see, Wild just shows up and he's got the happiest look on his face. He wants to just have a nice chat with Guts and Griffith.
Yeah,
Totally normal. Totally
he
normal.
grabs Griffith and he's like, he doesn't want to end up in the vortex. Also, he knows that Griffith is supposed to be a new member of the God Hand and wants him to summon the 4 members of the God Hand.
No, I don't think Zod ordered him to do this, did he?
Zod ordered him to go get Griffith or do something with Griffith.
Did that happen before? Are we coming up on that?
I think it was mentioned before this when
It's mentioned whenever Wild is talking about how he has business with the Hawk.
No. It's after that because, by the way, Wild calls Zod a fucking stupid idiot. In this manga.
Well, I
When
mean,
he refers
I'll
to
wait
Zod.
till we get to that point, but to bring up what I'm trying to.
Yeah, but he
mention.
wants him to summon the 4 members of the God Hand. The Band of the Hawk are surrounding him.
And he's also
ain't got
kind of
much
in the
time.
process of demoralizing them. Pretty much saying, yeah, your toy. You're looking at Griffith like he's your favorite toy who's being taken away. Well, too bad. Your toy was kind of broken a long time ago.
Show the one where it has Griffith with the full armor off, where he rips it off. It has no nudity because Griffith doesn't have a penis.
Right. I know what you're
He
talking about.
establishes-
So I'll say this: it doesn't really matter that he doesn't have his behelit. He doesn't have anything to sacrifice.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying. Well, I mean, this scene actually doesn't make any sense either, continuity wise, because how could he get? How can he be reborn if Griffith summons the God Hand? Like,
Well, I don't
Not
think he
technically,
understands. I don't think they really understand all the rules. So I think he's like, hey, use this. He knows what the Crimson Behelit is. He's like, hey, summon the God Hand so they can fix me. I think he's being stupid, but no. No, I mean, if you're in his mind, he's like, oh, the God Hand turned me into this. They can fix me.
Look, you have to
Maybe that's what he's
understand
thinking.
that his brain is pretty banged up by this point. Very, very messy. He ain't thinking coherently.
Yeah, Wild and Griffith both aren't in very good condition at this point.
Oh God, look at Griffith.
Poor Griffith.
Look, he still has no cock. Zoom in. Listen,
got no
we
cock.
covered this. Yeah, we covered this in Deluxe Volume 2 when Guts was staring directly at his non-cock. Look, he still has non-cock. I'm telling you, this is why he said
It's true. This man has no dick.
Yes. But he's also telling everyone of the extent of his condition, like how he's never returning. But
Yeah, he's not healing from this without major sacrifice.
so, a certain bird or plane just fucking drops, and do you have that page?
Well,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
I do.
real quick before that, he goes. Wild notices. He's like, wait, you don't have it. And he's like, he's looking for
Oh yeah.
the Crimson Behelit.
Yeah, he says you're kidding. It's not there. Then you got Zod, the fucking immortal.
And I just love how imposing Zod is right here. He's like, "Bitch, you're in trouble."
Mhm.
And like immediately the next chapter, he just picks up Zod with his fucking horns and just holding him above his head.
Yeah.
And then Wild's like, "Hey man, stop! Don't. Did the God Hand order you to do this?" Well, no, they don't do that because they just their commandment is do at thou will and shit. And then Zod's like, "Yeah, I do want to do what I want, and I just want to fucking kill you. You're not going to survive this."
Also,
That's-
look
that's-
at this spread.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It
So that's
gives
what I'm
you
saying.
The scale.
Yeah. I don't think Zod ordered Wild to get Griffith.
He did. I have to. I'll find the exact dialogue where.
I think the point of Wild was to be like to show that they don't have the freedom that they think they do, because like the one thing that they're told is do as thy will, and he's like, well, I want to kill the holder of the Crimson Ballot, and they're like, no, you can't do that. Wait a minute.
No. Zod doesn't tell him that you can't do that. Zod just says it's my free will to fucking kill you. That's literally what Zod tells him. He doesn't tell him that you can't kill it. It's just Zod doesn't like him.
I mean, fair enough.
Here, I'll find the specific page where Wild tells that Zod was the one who gave him that was the business he was given commanded by Zod to do. Find it. But anyways, let's continue.
Continuing onward. Requiem of the Wind. This is after Zod kind of...
Oh, no. Before we continue, holy fuck, you're skipping over a cool one of the cool parts.
I also have a lot of fucking screenshots here.
Well, hold up. Zod fucking breaks Wild's stomach open, and Wild dies, and then Zod flies before Zod flies off, Guts asks him, "Hey, when's that eclipse? Was that the death I was going to be destined to have? Was that Wild?" And then Zod just tells him, "You'll find out soon."
Don't worry,
Yeah,
bro.
flies
You'll
off.
find out.
And
Don't
then
worry about it.
we get to see the Vortex demons collecting Wild's body and leaving behind a shriveled old man. Now, I think there's details enough to tell what Wild was before. Like he's talking about, you waste your life away and all this if you're scared about dying and all this other shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an old man that did nothing with his life, and so at the very end, he decided to take power and do everything he missed out on.
Yep. And to like the extreme amount. Oh, that's Back Alley Boy.
I think even extreme is putting it lightly.
Well, I mean, he's acting out on it, like he's compensating all the shit he missed that he wanted to do. The sick fuck. Let me find the dialogue.
He's doing a lot of compensating.
But anyways, they see that Wild's just a little old shriveled man. And then we get to the chapter you're talking about.
That's right. Next up, Requiem of the Wind. And one of the first panels we see... So you think after this harrowing fight, our intrepid mercenaries might be feeling a little accomplished, but tragedy kind of soon hits them in the face. And everybody is feeling it pretty intensely at this moment.
Yeah,
They're basically Casca's like, or there wasn't bullshit what Wild was saying, and then Corcus even is like, yeah, that's not true what they were saying. I'm gonna go ask Griffith myself, and they're like, yeah, he can't speak, like he has no tongue.
a lot of the body language in this panel kind of just shows you, like, gives off the tempo just with
Right.
the art, which is pretty dope.
I'm looking
Yeah,
for
another
the-
thing I really like about a lot of these panels in this scene, the environment around them is serene, but it
Hmm.
couldn't be more depressing. Well, we think that anyway.
Yeah, okay. So before you even get to that, Guts actually Judo tells Guts that they're gonna make their own like thief group to help support Griffith and all them when they split up because they're all gonna leave. Guts' Hawk Raiders and Gaston come up to him and are basically like, wherever you go, will you take us with us and shit? And then Guts finally recognizes that, oh shit, the thing he always wanted was family. And he had it here the entire time. He never should have fucking left. He never should have went off for even his stupid idea of a dream trying to find his place. It even brings back the conversation he had with Judo, where Judo told him, he hopes that he'll find his home here someplace.
Yep.
And all this
And Guts
stuff.
is taking the last thing from Griffith.
And
Oh yeah, that freaking
well,
shot,
Guts also specific.
that last shot where he's just looking out of the tent. I'm like, and that's where we go from Griffith's look of shock becoming a look of pure just evil. Like it's really the first time, in my opinion.
So before that, Guts repeats the dialogue that why does he always, what was it? I need to find the exact way it was said.
Why does he
On my
only
side.
why does he only realize what he has until it's gone, basically?
Yeah. He says that with them because he realized, oh shit, this was his place the entire time, and this is his family. And then when he has his conversation with, before that, Casca's healing up Griffith's, rebandaging him stuff, and then Griffith decides to pounce.
Yeah. I think he
Yeah,
tries
and
to
it's
rape her.
He tries.
well,
tries
it's kind of difficult to tell at first when you're first reading this. You're like,
Yeah.
hang on, what's he doing? Because it's strangely uncomfortable. It's like, yeah, why is Griffith doing this in this situation? It feels like it
So
comes
he
out of
dry
nowhere.
So he dry humped her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking-
he feels powerless and he's trying to take his power back.
And then Guts
Yes.
finds Casca crying and then her heart thumping really hard and stuff.
I also love this eye level shot of Casca. I just think her facial expression, I don't know, there's just a lot of expression there, a lot of emotion. It's done very, very well.
Right. And then, Guts is like, what happened? What's wrong? And then Casca just says it's nothing. And then Casca says, yeah, I can't go with you. And also, like, you can't stay here. Like, if you consider yourself,
You won't
Griffith's
hang
true
from
friend.
anyone's dream.
Yeah. And also, like, if you believe yourself to be Griffith's friend and equal, you'll leave. And
Yeah.
Griffith hears that.
If you're Griffith's friend and equal, you have
Yes.
to.
It's that moment when Griffith realizes what he said a little over a year ago. He's like, oh fuck, what did I say?
Like he's like over them.
And then we get the repeat of one is when he finally realizes it's already done and gone. And then now I'm gonna tell you the name of this next chapter.
I also
It's
have
not that subtle, I'm gonna be honest. Back Alley Boy. Now, if we know anything about Griffith, he is a ready boy.
He's a back alley boy.
That's
and
right.
Now, I want to ask you something. Is this his mind breaking and hallucinating, or do you think the Ubik, or what's his name? Ubik?
Yeah, it's Ubik.
Yeah. Or you think he was doing the really trying to influence him in this?
No, I think this is his mind breaking because we kind of get that later.
Well, anyways, he sees a Rady boy and he's like, "Wow, that's a really good looking Rady boy,"
Wait,
sees
that
this
Rady boy
child-
looks like this Rady boy.
Yeah, he sees his child self, you know, and he's chasing after. He fucking takes his mouth and then is driving the carriage after his little child self.
It's also
That's
framed
heading to the end.
as child self is laying his sword in front of him, saying, "Let's go." So Griffith tries to kind of like take the sword. It's only after the fact when he's like pulling on it that it's the actual kind of like is it's like the actual steering mechanism of the wagon, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's using his mouth. Not
Yes.
symbolic at all.
Not at all.
Just some hard wood in his mouth, you know? Anyways. Oh, yeah, he's he's going to look it up. Anyways, before we get to this, he has kind of a lucid dream where Guts actually did leave and he ends up with a life with Casca in which they had a child they named Guts and Pippin's the name of their fucking dog. And Guts or Griffith is even like, yeah, Griffith was like, yeah, this life isn't so bad. Before going flying out of the goddamn carriage, and landing in the lake.
I don't know. I think he hates that.
I don't think he. I'm not saying he enjoys it, but I'm saying his literally dialogue that he says is, "This ain't so bad." Like it's not the worst thing.
Yeah, but that'd be like the death of his dream.
But then he goes flying out the fucking carriage and then lands. He has a broken arm, starts laughing, notices a little tiny wood splinter, tries to kill himself, fails at that. The behelit shows up. He picks it up. You know where this is going.
Yeah, we all know where this is going.
Oh,
we get this
also,
beautiful
Zod,
2-page spread, and then
here also before Zod left after the wild stuff, he told Griffith, looked at everyone in front of him, and said the behelit will return when it's time. And
it's
now it's time.
It's a little bit open.
Oh God, no. Anyways, by the way, they noticed that Griffith like ran off on the carriage, and they overheard their conversation. So Guts is going after them, and then Casca and the Band of the Hawk are going behind him. And Guts is being like, kind of blaming himself, if I remember correctly, with the dialogue when he's thinking of the stuff that was his fault for all the stuff that happened to him and all this for leaving. Anyways, he gets to the lake in which the blood's starting to mix into the behelit and it's starting to form up while Guts is running towards Griffith. And Griffith is, what was it? I never will or never with you again is how the dialogue's written. Look it up for me. Frederick.
Before the one that you got?
Yeah, when he's telling Guts, or in his mind, he's screaming, "Stay away!"
Oh, like stay away. Yeah.
But he's and also behind Griffith, a bunch of naked people, and the eclipse is starting over the sun. Solar eclipse.
Yeah, just a few small little things are happening in sequence. No causation or correlation here whatsoever. It's just
I don't remember this part of the other
events.
week's eclipse. I don't remember seeing all these people showing up the other Monday.
He just says, stay away. Stay away.
Yeah, but he
stay
also
away.
says, I will never. If you touch my shoulder, I will never again with you. We don't actually get the full sentence of what he was supposed to say.
All we know is that some bad mojo is about to happen.
Anyways, Guts grabs him on the shoulder. The behelit fucking activates. They're transported to Faceland. All the
lots and lots of faces.
Hollywood. You know all the what's it called where you get the facelift? This is where they they get it from, you know, guys.
Yeah, he says if you touch me now, if you put your hand on my shoulder now, I'll never. That's it, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I'll never again.
Just a little further.
Anyways, we're at the eclipse, fuckers.
Strap
Surprise.
in, boys and girls. You're in for a ride.
A wild
very-
ride. Oh wait.
Wild's dead.
What? Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Anyways, they Griffith starts bleeding fucking blood out of his eyes. They're all like Casca's telling everyone to calm the fuck down and get stop
Yes,
freaking
please
out.
calm down. Just after we got teleported into this land of endless faces.
Then we got elf cheeks.
Oh, and then
So vast. So many faces. You wouldn't
we end up
believe.
getting the appearance of the God Hand, and we get the best one of them all, Big Titty Slan, which
Oh,
she's
yeah.
literally naked, rising up as a giant.
Boy, you're skipping some stuff.
There's a
What am I-
lot of voluptuous angles as she's kind of like rising up out of the faces.
Yeah,
Are
but
you
before
talking
that
about
happens,
where the apostles start showing up and they're saying the feast, the eclipse?
no, I'm talking about when Rickert meets up with the person.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah, the
has
promised time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pick up with Rickard, and remember that that troop that Puck was traveling with? We got in the Black Swordsman told about this. Well, he's there with them, and the gypsy is Rickard leaves, and they give him elf dust powder before he leaves. And then you hear the witch chick, whatever, the what are they called? Seers. I forgot the name specifically. Anyway, she's
there's
looking
several
in the
names
magic.
like soothsayers.
Yeah. She's talking to somebody who suspiciously looks like Puck in behind this curtain. And she's like, yeah, she just wants to see what Rickard's future looks like. And she's like, oh shit, bad omens. Really fucking bad omens. Like, it's not going well, guys. Yeah.
We get that panel. Yeah.
Yes, and we get Puck. By the way, if you the amount of like evolution of like how much you want to see how much his art has improved, take Puck from Black Swordsman and
Yeah.
compare him with this Puck. It
Well,
is
Puck
night and day.
Yeah, Puck is kind of used as that reference for like, hey guys, this is how the art's going to be.
Yes, like it looks so good. But you know, Rickard is going to the rendezvous, their original rendezvous, and well, there's a big goddamn tornado and an eclipse happening. This is big circling tornado that we saw in Black
Hey,
Swordsman with the
That
Count.
just sounds like another day in Ohio.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you also have the weird creatures that are sort of encircling everyone.
Hey, when it comes to the eclipse, every day is an Ohio day.
Well, Frederick, we're talking about the outside part, what everyone sees outside of when someone summons or goes to the astral world down, it summons the tornado around the area.
Right.
We saw it with the Count when the Count was summoned. Had the big tornado circling the whole castle.
Yeah, and you have a lot of
Developing
I don't know if they're apostles or souls or what, but there's a lot of beasts that are coming out of the wall of faces, you could say.
Oh,
Well, it's just-
yeah.
it's- So they're not like in the deepest part of the astral plane. Like
They're right next to the deepest
they're-
part.
Yeah, they're all the essentially right. Yeah, I mean the Behelit kind of allows them to meet in the middle.
Yes. Well, it allows them right above the entrance to the deepest part.
Yeah.
You'll see later on in Deluxe Volume 5, the rest of
Yeah.
them read out.
I don't
I know
think
what you're talking about.
I don't think whenever they enter the astral plane, it ever looks the same. Like when you first saw in the Black Swordsman arc, it was like the weird staircase.
Hey,
like,
Bat
place.
Sauce.
Mhm.
We also never see the same ritual conditions. We see an apostle. We see a God Hand. I can't mention the third or fourth one, but each one that we get of quote unquote these thing a ritual, it's all been different ones.
Well, you mean the terms of what they had to sacrifice?
In terms of even what the ritual's for. Like we saw what a normal apostle one looks like. We're seeing what an eclipse one is for a God Hand.
Mhm.
there's a flashback scene later on. I'm trying to not be spoilers. There's a
Yeah,
flashback,
we'll have to talk offline on that.
and that one has kind of something from Conviction and this one mixed together. Weird.
Okay.
We
We might have to talk about that because offline.
But anyways, the demon apostles start showing up on the faces, and they're just they're chanting for their feast and all this other shit, and that the great ones are approaching, and that's where we get Slan.
We also get some weird guy
Mama Slan
out of the void.
Well, before we get Void, we get Slan, Ubik, Conrad, then Void, and I love Void's entrance. Literally, it's the shadow form of him leaking out of the goddamn eclipse.
So here's a point with Void. Japan doesn't have the 4 traditional elements; they have 5. Fire, wind, water, earth. Japan has then Void.
Yeah, I forgot the actual one it's based on, but it's supposed to be the Void as one of the elements.
Also, all the Godhead members, they're all named after something sci-fi related. Generally.
They're all named after sci-fi novels that Mura liked.
Yeah, like I read the book for Slan. Yeah,
Ubik is a Philip K. Dick novel that's pretty well known.
Yeah. That's a great. I read that one. That was good.
I've read
it was a spray can. Yeah.
They're all after Western novels.
Except for Void and the last one. We don't know what Void's name came from, and we don't know what the last one's name came from. Like, no idea.
Well, the which one?
Femto.
It sounds like femboy.
Is that what you think?
Yes, I'm not sure.
I'm just gonna say it is. I've written it in my head. It's the headcanon now.
Because I've tried.
Okay.
I tried to figure it out, but
I'm gonna be honest with you. It also sounds like the most faggoty name you could ever hear is Femto.
Yeah, like why would you go from Griffith, which like Griffith to me is like, all right, that's already perfectly a demonic name. No, Femo. We're gonna rename you Femo.
These dark angels are like, what's your name, disciple? Oh, Femto.
Oh, Femto. Yeah, that's right.
There's so much meaning put in between almost everyone's names, and then like Femto. I think it has something to do with like the number, like fem. Like there's a negative number that's something. I don't know. Somebody mentioned like negative 15 or something like that.
Otter, it's worse. He didn't even choose the name himself. You'll find out later that they chose the name Femto for him.
Oh, that's an L, if I've ever heard of one.
Well, maybe they wanted to mess with him.
But anyways, we're fixing to get to a really funny part. When all the Godhand members are formed, the 4 of them, Slan, tells Griffith or tells basically the Band of the Hawk and them that, hey, he's our kin and stuff. And then, you're all going to make lovely sacrifices and shit. And then Guts is like, yeah, he's never going to fucking, you're not going to, or whatever. He's thinking they're going to sacrifice him to turn him into a demon. And they're like, no.
Yeah, and Slan's like, no. I'm sorry to tell you this, but he's always made his mind up a long time ago.
Well, she's like, he's going to be the one to do it. And then Guts is like, quit this fucking bullshit. I've seen this man naked. And I have never seen a tail or any fucking weird shit grow out of his ass. And I've seen his ass plenty. I've just added the last part.
The other mercenaries are like, Guts, that's not the W you were looking for.
Albeit it is funny that his explanation is, I've seen this man naked. There's no tail growing between his legs.
Then you got Slan like feeling herself up.
This man has no dick.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a precious sacrifice so that he may become a demon.
You know what? I hate Bat Sauce now because now I'm going to think Slan sounds like a California Valley girl. Also, I want to point out...
Oh, yes, it's so beautiful.
I want to point something out about Slan's design that I just noticed on my reread. She has a fucking penis in her corset. running off your tits and shit.
Such a beautiful friendship. I'm sure you'll make an excellent sacrifice.
You even ruined it more. No, that's not
my
what's
voice
said.
mod's working, right? I gotta check. I don't hear
Cursed.
it.
But anyways, we have all the God Hand members being like, yeah, this shit's fixing to go down, guys. And then tells Conrad, prepare the ritual site, and the giant fucking hand forms up and takes Guts and Griffith into the sky. Griffith does try to catch Guts when he falls off.
Mm-hmm.
But his hand, he grabs, or Griffith grabs, or not grabs, but Guts grabs Griffith's hand that he laid out. And then his hand starts to, or his arm starts to fucking tear. So Guts gets dropped and takes a knife to the faces and shit.
You want me to show this double?
That's just a freaking awesome shot, by the way. Can we just appreciate that for a moment?
I was gonna say I got one to show up on the screen of the demons.
Show us. Oh yeah, they when we
Oh
get
yeah,
up,
I have that as an overlay too.
I'll show it as an overlay.
You and I
Go
were
to-
thinking of the exact same page.
go to the page before that, where we can actually see the full dialogue. Bat sauce.
What? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the page before it.
I can't show that page. There's boobies in it.
There's a
Too many
lot
boobs.
of double page spreads in this book. Like this is one
Bat
of the
sauce,
most
you're gonna have
rich-
such fun. Listen, you're missing out because you could show whatever the fuck you want on my stream. We did Deluxe 5.
So you wanted me to show the panel before or what?
The dialogue. 'Cause it's the right before they say despair to the bed.
There was but one word to describe it.
Despair.
Despair!
But so Griffith's up there with the God Hand, and the God Hand, Ubik decides to show Griffith a figment of his consciousness, and he's totally not manipulating him, guys. So much so that you see a panel of him as the grandma character, like old woman. Literally, they have him like dressed up like a fake mask and shit or whatever. They're standing on top of each other. But anyway,
So I've always tried to wonder because, like, I mean, they do. The God Hand seems to have like specific powers. I'm like, are they related to like a specific sin, a specific like form of despair, or something like that?
I would say
Always wondered that.
but it only works for two of them.
What the sin?
Yeah, like Conrad. I mean, well, I can't talk about it. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like Slan, like is the
Yeah.
lust and
Lust,
stuff.
yeah.
It's very loose. It's void. It's pretty unclear. It's just darkness, basically, null and void.
Well, we think he's seek knowledge. I think was his ordeal.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk spoilers.
Conrad is pretty well pestilence.
Yeah.
hold up. When does they introduce the information later on? That kind of hints to who Void was, and in
That's really far later.
In contrast with a different character. Anyways, some of them work, some of them don't. Like Conrad, like we don't really see him be like a Lord of Glut or whatever, even though he is a fat fuck.
Yeah.
You see, like,
well, if you notice, he's got a very like bug shell-like form. Like you said, like Otter said,
we get a
it's
lot
like very
of
obviously
bug
like
shell-like
pestilence.
Yeah, well, like all the apostle forms, except like Slan, are all like insect mixed. Besides,
Well, and is it like horseman type related? I don't know.
well, they're the angels, man.
Yeah.
to their god. That we'll find out later. Anyways, Griffith, we get to see Griffith as him as a child, and he asked the old woman, like, where's the castle? And she's like, that way. And then he ends up on like a mountain of fucking corpses. And he's freaking out. And then the old woman's like berating him, which is Ubik and Conrad. Being like,
Show it again,
yeah.
bad sauce.
Yes, just fucking mountains of corpses.
Lots and lots and lots of corpses.
And the child Griffith is like, hey, why did you trick, like, because he's like, did you know that, or whatever. The old woman says that she knew that, like, he was going to come into this. And he's like, you tricked me. And she's like, no, you fucking knew this from the beginning. Like, all the people that you've led all died for your dream. The tens of thousands of people you've killed in honor of your dream, your soldiers killed. You have the child from Deluxe Volume 2, the one who died on the battlefield.
The toy knight.
You have the toy knight. You have him show up and he wants to be a knight for Griffith. And then Griffith's like, you're fucking dead, dude. Like, you can't come with me. Then he has all his Band of the Hawk soldiers also come up in like zombie forms, telling them
You
that
got the Ubik and Conrad kind of like under the old lady's disguise.
Yeah, they're 100% not manipulating guy. It's the most secure eclipse in history. Hong Kong. Totally no, what would we call it?
Totally no God hand interference whatsoever.
Yes. Like I said, most fair and secure election, or not election, eclipse. But
no 4 a.m. sacrifice dumping here.
I'll never get to reach that place.
Yes, and then fucking Void is like, hey, bitch, you want to make it to that castle? You got to pile on a shit ton more corpses. And then we cut back to Guts finally climbing up there and then getting to Griffith, and Griffith is smiling. And then we get the pull up the actual dialogue and you read it, Bat Sauce, for us, because it's actually pretty good.
What Void says?
No, what Griffith says. Void just tells him, like, you want to make it to that castle? Keep piling.
All right, so I got this panel, but you're not talking about this, right?
No, I'm talking about the one where he's fixing the sacrifice. He's fixing to say the words when Guts gets there.
Even now. Then pile up all the remains to you and chant the words I sacrifice in your heart. You talking about that?
No. When Guts gets up there.
Man, I don't have this prepared.
When Guts is fixing to get to Griffith on the hand.
Like that?
Yes.
Yes. Out of the thousands of comrades and tens of thousands of enemies, you are the one.
You are the only one.
You're the only one, yes. You are the only one.
I did love that fucking 2-page spread.
Yeah.
So happy. And then we get to the next page.
Then it's not too far after that.
Who
that
made me forget my dream?
And I here's the thing I love.
No foreboding whatsoever.
I love that we don't even get the full sacrifice line. It's just the last tail end of it.
I love how simple this is.
Yes. Also, never mind.
What?
I'll send it to you later, Bat Sauce, of a comparable shot that even shows even more how advanced it becomes. But
Demon spread.
Void says, all right, the ritual is complete. And then he shoots all the brand of sacrifice.
Okay, and this is what I wanted to bring up before, right? So the brands do not go into random places. We have Judo that goes into his left hand. He was kind of the left hand of the squad. It goes into Casca's heart, her chest. That's pretty obvious. Goes into Pippin's arm. He's the muscle. Goes into Guts' neck for a reason. I forgot why, but there's a reason. It is also like symbolic of what they kind of meant to him.
Well, when I say it, random places, I mean they're not all on one fucking forehead in the exact same place. They do,
yeah.
Which does imply something that maybe that original 1,000 years ago was something different than what we got.
Right. Yeah.
Because the eclipse only happens 216 years. There's 4 Godhead members. And we know this goes back at least 1,000 years, as far as we know.
Goes back longer than what they said.
Yes. And then the slaughter begins.
Yeah, and it's not too pretty.
Oh, God. Look, poor Gaston with his missing teeth. And the fucking brand right on his face. His cheek.
Gaston.
You get it? It's symbolic. He always shows the other cheek, you know? Oh, it feels... Oh, my God. It's so beautiful. When I first read through this, dude, I like took straight up 7 or 8 minutes just looking at every little thing.
Yeah, and there's also motion in all the demons, too.
The depth of what they're suffering right now is even greater when you recall how high they were. Like, they were close to nobility. They were the most, important arm of the king's army. Everything was going in their favor, and then boom, they were solo.
Just barely in reach of nobility. Just right
and I
there.
Berserk is a story of soaring highs and hellish lows.
Dude, we get to see Casca break down in this chapter as well. Because we started off with her when the eclipse started and they're there, and she was telling Corcus to calm the fuck down and telling everyone to get in order, to the point where she's just watching people get slaughtered, and she's just like, what the fuck?
Is this? Is this real? Is it real?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, no.
And then we have Guts, cuts to Guts, and he's trying to stab to get to Griffith in the hand, where Griffith's new body is being formed. And the God Hand's like, your mortal weapons are gonna do you no good.
It's quite a rapid process. You see,
right?
Like a butterfly coming out of his cocoon for the first time. Went through that year.
It's like a Rady boy.
I'm sure he's gonna do nothing but nice things.
Surely he would not sacrifice all of his friends for this. No chance.
You already said that. So, do we, in the next volume, do we get the uncanonized chapter?
Yes, it is. Okay. It is. I forgot the actual chapter name. You do get to see what it is that's supposed to be in that cut chapter at the very end of the official one.
Yeah,
but that's next stream.
Yeah.
But Guts is kind of fucking not believing that Griffith really sacrificed him, to the point where he's like, is this what you wanted? And all this shit.
Well, no one really knew what Griffith was like. No one saw past all the layers of Griffith to see the monster he was underneath. That's why it took everybody by surprise.
Well, here's the thing. Guts is also thinking back on moments throughout the Golden Age where he's thinking back to the conversation him and before they met Charlotte after they done with Zod, where Griffith's like, do I need a reason, to put my life on the line for you? The one at the end of where the queen gets murdered, and that when Griffith asks him if he thinks he's cruel, get all that. And then Guts' swords break, and it almost hits Ubik. What was their... Can you look up their conversation the God Hand was telling him?
Which one?
I do think they announced some stuff.
Do you think I'm cruel? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we think you're cruel. Especially now.
They become food for the new child of darkness.
Oh yeah, they're also calling Griffith before this. He'd get new wings and become the Hawk of Darkness and shit.
It's useless. The strength of man will no longer prevail. Besides, you are mistaken in thinking you will save him. This is what he wanted. You should have been able to hear it. What he definitely said last. Sacrifice.
Yes. Then the apostles are starting to head towards Guts, and he's going into battle with a fucking broken dagger, about to fight these apostles, and that's where we leave off. And then we cut to Rickard going up the hill, noticing the tornado. There's a solar eclipse. Oh, and there's a Skull Knight and a Zod fighting.
That's strange.
Strange.
That's strange.
Rickert, Top G. Also, that tornado drawn is like the coolest tornado ever.
Oh, it's incredible.
Looks like
You
a
know what's
wizard's
cool?
hat, kind of.
Let me see
Bat
if I
sauce. You
can
know what
pull it
sport
up.
Rickard would be really good at?
What's that?
You know the slat fighting contest?
Oh, yeah.
No, I get it. I get it.
Listen, we're the only three that get it because none of us know.
It's a,
I know something you don't know.
and you're not gonna know it for some time.
Oh my god. It'll take a couple years.
It'll take a while.
Yeah.
To be fair, the rate we're going, I mean, we'll get there pretty soon.
We're almost halfway.
Yep, just got after 5, we'll have 6 and 7. That'll be End of Conviction. Then Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon's longer than Golden Age, by the way.
Millennium Falcon goes on forever.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
I still can't get over that fucking name, honestly.
Well, he's just big Star Wars fan. The Millennium Falcon I felt like is not like a concise arc. Like I think he just was like it's arc in and out. I don't know, man. It's all part of the
Bat
Millennium
Sauce,
Falcon.
I do want to talk to you about it because the pacing in it is fucking insane. Like you go from a really big moment and you're like, oh, we're gonna get some rest. Oh, holy shit, we're right back into it.
Well, that's because I think that's when the hiatuses started, and
maybe.
And I'm not sure either, but like I just don't think he really cared to be doing the story in this like arc format anymore.
Right, and Millennium Falcon's also kind of turn into where the
Much
story's
different
going.
direction.
Yeah, and I like it. I understand why some people don't, but I do.
I like it.
But anyways, y'all's thoughts on Deluxe Volume 4?
A lot more double pages. Oh, sorry.
Oh. Frederick, you go. Fuck you, Christian.
Double the pages, double the kahunas, double the fun.
This is like the most graphic of all the volumes so far. Like so much to look at. If you got to,
This is also, at least in the Golden Age, this is also the easiest fucking Deluxe volume to read. It is.
It flies by
really well.
Yeah. Like it has rest moments, but they're brief, and there's so much. Even in the quiet moments, there's so much character and good conversation and lore building the whole thing. Honestly, like I can't emphasize enough the eclipse. People have I thought it was overhyped. People were like, "Oh, it's one of those scenes."
Oh, you sweet summer child!
It's not.
Christian,
it's only just starting.
Christian,
it is one.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that the eclipse is the greatest twist that isn't even a twist.
Yes, it is
somehow you know what's gonna happen. Like you know that what he becomes, and yet you're still like, how? What?
It's because we all fell in love. We all fall in love with the Band of the Hawk, and it's like he couldn't possibly betray them. Like I'm in love with them now. They are part of me, and I'm part
Christian
of them.
doesn't know what's coming up in the rest of the eclipse. We're just starting. You think it gets graphic and violent in this one?
Oh,
I'm just talking about the visual image, like the imagery.
Note
itself,
why I changed my subtext midway through stream.
Forecast.
Spoilers.
She is
I'm deja-vuing like super hard right now.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
Also, by the way, you love the imagery of the eclipse. Well, guess what? You're gonna get reminders of it constantly throughout the rest of the series. Just letting you know, you'll get full-on images of it.
Yeah, he knows it's good.
I should be horrified, but I'm only excited.
Also, you have my attention. Now you have my. Never mind.
He definitely drawing just knew what he had.
Oh, Mira's best friend, the one who is actually helping to finish the mostly the outline for after Mira died, where the story's going to end, because him and Mira used to talk a lot and about the story and where it was going and all this shit. Yeah. Anyways, he helped draw the eclipse with Mira.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
To be fair, there's a lot going on in some.
There's a lot going on. some of the panels, I'm like, holy shit! He packed in just so much detail.
Yeah,
I feel
Mira had
yeah.
to. Mira, still had it all were planned, but he definitely had his friend come in and be like, "All right, you got to help me with this," and it makes sense because. Go ahead.
Probably for some of the body, like remember when I pointed out like the body language, because he was his famous manga is fighting street fighting manga,
Right.
and so he had really good technique at like writing body posture.
But oh boy.
Also,
Deluxe
do you
Volume
guys
5 is in-
think that there's any part of Griffith that is sad in this moment, this destined?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's
least- at
kind of
least
the
it's
seed
here.
of where this depravity comes from.
Yeah.
It's a story about a Rady boy getting really pissed at his best friend.
Yeah.
He looks to Casca. No, he's mine.
By the way, it was
No,
kinda
I'm
up in the air.
totally not gay for him. What were
I
you
also
thinking?
love how evil Mira was able to make Griffith look with the helmet on earlier in this deluxe volume when he's like staring directly at him. Looks like
There's
yeah,
a lot of
nothing but
visual
eyes
storytelling
rolling.
that he does just through drawing Griffith's eyes. You get so much through that alone.
especially
no,
since
the
most of this,
eyes can never be understated in terms of art and expression.
besides 3 points in this deluxe volume, that's like about the most actual in Griffith's head that you get to see, and it's little tiny bits. Most of it, nothing, no dialogue. Most of it's just facial expressions, and
Yeah. I mean, the God Hand had to convince him too. Like, they still had to convince him to do it. So, like, he was still not all the way completely sold until they're like, dude, you can reach that castle. Don't forget about the crest.
Being the first time I've read through this, I didn't realize that they were all going to get the brand. I thought that was only a guts thing.
What was? Oh, by the way, they specifically used guts to convince Griffith.
Yeah.
When they had the castle scene, they had Griffith show up Guts show up, and he was like repeating his dialogue, being like, what was it? Where you're asking me this now or whatever, when he was talking about when Griffith asked if he was cruel, and Guts' response, where he's basically like, no, this is all in service for your dream, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And all that shit. They were using that specifically.
Yeah,
Also,
the kid.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, I was going to say, I dipped out earlier. I missed when you guys talked about Zod returning to the story, because Zod is the man. I love that character.
Zod is such a fun character.
Zod!
Also, if you want to know my feelings on Berserk, kind of the Black Swordsman and the Golden Age, I think this meme sums it up pretty well.
Puck's so funny.
So, have you guys heard? I mean, I know a few of you have, but the meme Griffith did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So, yeah, I mean, the whole sales pitch to him, like, if you stop now, all these people that sacrifice themselves for you, that kid that died in the battlefield with the toy soldier, it'd be for nothing. You'd be letting all those people down if you don't sacrifice these people.
Oh yeah, yes. Where he's saying even if they're upset or whatever, they're there to help you with your dream, and
you're doing this for them. Yeah, your dream is what's most important because they shared your dream. They're all fires.
This is why the God Hand is so great, because they are using the way they're manipulating him and shit, and being like, yeah, Griffith, that dream. Everyone, your boyfriend, best friend.
Platonic, non-sensual.
Yeah. It's purely platonic. Nothing more, folks.
Your people who look up to you, they all want you to accomplish your dream, Griffith. It's right there in front of you. Just pile on some more corpses.
Back to theorizing about the themes of the God Hand, because I love it. I'm sorry, I like this topic a lot. They are referred to as, I don't know if it's been yet, but the angels of desire. So it's like, do they represent a form of desire, or is it just because they grant people their desires?
It could
grant
be
people
both.
those desires.
I haven't read as far as you guys, so you guys can probably know that better than I do. How
I
many
mean,
Well,
of
it's
them
just
are?
it's just their physical appearance, really, is what
It-
we have to go off of.
It
Well,
feels
how many
loose.
of them are there? How many are technically are there?
There's 5.
Five.
Is that including
With
or
Griffith.
Or,
That's including Griffith.
okay,
There's
The
5?
God hand. Yeah.
And there's
makes sense.
implied that there have been more.
Yeah. Because of the
Yes.
timeline, because they're like they've been around for 1,000 years, and we have one every like 200 something years, and
200.
it's just like the time doesn't add up for how many members there were.
There would have
Or-
to be
Yeah.
It's like you go back in time. Time to cut off a digit.
There's something there. There's also they serve something. That's all I'll say.
I feel like a lot of what they represent, it's not so much like it's not fully desire. It feels like it's kind of like delving into the id part of the mind. And I think a lot of the universe itself, as you start unraveling the different layers, it kind of feeds into that a lot. It's like reality is sort of like
So-
the ego in a sense, but the more
So it's like-
spiritual it goes, the more kind of like emotion based it becomes.
Well, yeah, the world around them is kind of evil, and that's what kind of feeds into the power of the God hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Well, that's the question. Is it the chicken? Like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did the God hand perpetuate this evil,
yep, causality. Yeah,
Okay.
or
So-
did the evil bring about the God hand? It's kinda-
yeah, that is a question that's still lingering.
Without
Even with a chapter that is now non-canon, it still doesn't fully explain everything.
Well,
Well,
it's
it
non-canon, but it is
It's never
canon.
contradicted.
It fits in perfectly with
Well, he
everything
said
else that's
he-
going on.
he uncanonized it only because he's like it reveals too much.
Yeah.
Which everybody was like, okay, but what?
We've read it.
What does it
already, so-
reveal?
Well, I mean, I also feel like he didn't want to write himself into a corner because it does reveal some stuff that's like, holy fuck, like that kind of contradicts Guts' character. Like,
Well, it also kind of implies if that's truly the theme of the universe, if that is the nature of kind of like they're all ruling God, there is no hope for them, straight up. And I think that's part of
It would
I think
turn
even
into
with
a
that, I don't think that's
strictly
true.
nihilistic
Oh.
story.
so. Also, remember they're called apostles.
Yeah.
The God hand
The
are
demons.
like the priest for their God. They send out their missionaries, which are the apostles.
Well, they're the
And-
angels to God.
Right. But also they're called fucking apostles, like God, Jesus's missionaries and shit. Spread it.
Well, that's all the
Right, they're-
demons are apostles. Yeah.
right. And they specifically go out into the world to cause pain and suffering and death.
Yep,
Which,
yep.
Also,
like I said,
Isn't this a happy story?
I was noticing
love
like
story.
everybody during the eclipse is freaking out. They're starting to see all the demons and people are screaming and having proper reactions. Then the female member of the God hand appears and everyone's like, oh,
Ooh.
ah!
they're like, oh my
Ah!
god,
Back to
it's a
screen.
giant. And she's
I'm
also-
scared and horny.
Faces everywhere. Wait a second. Tits.
Tits.
Oh no, there's
Oh.
faces. Ah.
Corcus is also in denial. By the way, when he's there, he's like, I have to be dreaming. Have to be.
I
Can't
ate
be.
some bad mushrooms. I am tripping.
Talk me down, man. Talk me down.
Dude, I swear there was like a portal to open up. Guts, there is a fucking portal.
Yeah.
So, Frederick, are you saying what I'm saying about like the drawings just being cleaner and the faces and everything than the
Oh, yeah.
previous?
You see a lot more emotion in this one as well. Casca's just
Right.
like performance is top notch.
Do you think he changed up the way he's drawing or using a different
I mean,
pen or brush? It just feels cleaner than it was even last deluxe volume.
he's using a lot of like gray tones again.
Yes. And he uses more later on.
He's got this
A lot
these-
more.
Yeah, and he's using a lot bigger gray tones as well. I don't know if it shows, but this is like
huge.
Oh, that's just Griffith hugging. That's just Griffith hugging Casca YouTube. Nothing else. Nothing else.
Platonically, allegedly.
Consensually.
They're
kind of.
friends.
Well, we got any closing thoughts?
I guess
Holy fuck!
I like boobs.
I like boobs, yes, and butt.
And
Last time you asked us how we think, or you asked me how I think this compares to the other volumes.
Mhm.
I think I said the last volume was probably my favorite and best, and I think I still stand by that. I think the art's definitely probably one of the best in the entire series in this. Definitely some of the biggest spreads. But reading this chapter, it makes a lot of the things in previous volumes kind of like make a little bit more sense, and kind of like I said before with the campfires, all the campfires building to his dream, and it's like you apply that to the thought process of all those collective dreams that were, keeping your dream a big flame. I'm like, are you just going to extinguish that and at the same time extinguish all those other flames, or keep it going? I think the last volume just connects everything so much better. But
We
yeah.
also
the
get like
eclipse is
a lot
also
of
a great
payoff.
way of tying that back in with everything that happens to Griffith, because where they are in the interstice, it kind of mirrors that. It's like an unholy inversion of what Griffith's dream originally is. It's like, oh yeah, Griffith's dream is kind of like absorbing everybody else's dreams. The interstice and the
Vortex,
eclipse, yeah, everything's constructed of people, of faces. Everybody is part of this one world, quite literally.
And this probably is the volume that hints off more to future volumes than any other volume.
Yes.
Like there's so much, like with the Bakiraka, like that's just such a little taste of what's going to happen way in the future.
Yeah, now I've been calling them the Kushans just because I don't care. It's not really a big spoiler what the type of people they are, but we do get mentioned that they're from the east.
They look like the other Eastern people that
They
attacked
look
them.
like all of the Arabic people I know.
Yeah.
They're all lanky, short, and midgety. Alrighty.
I also get the feeling this was Mira whenever he was drawing Slan.
Dude, her tits are okay. Bat sauce. Agree or
What's up?
disagree with me? Slan has the most ginormous fucking tits in the entire series. And I'm not even talking about when she's in her giant form, just her normal form. Her tits are massively drawn.
I don't know about that.
It
There's a
doesn't push
certain
the
witch.
limits in regards to manga or anime.
That's
Yeah.
what I was saying to him earlier. By manga standards, it's nothing. By Berserk
That's true.
standards, I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, because half of the women we've seen so far have been underage.
I will say that with the Bakiraka too, it's like they're all like massively disformed, but the woman,
Oh,
the woman's
Christian.
completely normal, naked.
Hey, Christian, you're
Yes.
gonna get a reveal of something. Guts and Casca didn't have sex with protection, right?
I assume they didn't have a wool sleeve to use. Yeah.
He used a sword. Jesus. Anyways, you remember the baby from Deluxe Volume 1? The little baby demon?
A lot of people forget that. I always forget that it's in it's at the very end of the Black Swordsman.
You'll remember it soon enough.
That's
it's actually not at the end of the Black Swordsman. It's in the first chapter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
When he's in the jail cell.
Hooray for conviction arc.
Well, it's also in like an alleyway too, isn't it? He's like, you're always following me.
Oh, well, that's during his dream sequence when in the second chapter, when he's having the incubi give him nightmares and feeding on him.
Yeah.
And then I think it reveals one more time in Black Swordsman.
Just imagine that baby coming up to Griffith and just going, "We meet again, back alley boy."
Like I said, that fucking title is like, come on, Mira. It's not subtle. Like,
Mira's hilarious.
He's thinking of Guts, his best friend, totally not boyfriend.
Yeah, totally not.
Where he's
It's-
like,
they are consensual, platonic, totally just friends. I will say that whenever I read a book, like, especially, it's always interesting when a story could have ended earlier than it did. It's like my favorite series of all time. It could have ended in book 2 or book 3, and I would have been happy and satisfied with that. It does feel like if he had written it a little bit differently, he could have called the story right here. It's such a climactic event, story-wise.
What happens in the anime,
There,
essentially.
it's one of the things that in anime and manga, I think if it's done right, it's done incredibly well. It can be such a fun way to shake up a story. I think Berserk is one of the best examples of that, where you think the story is going to go one way, but plot twist, it ends up going in a completely different direction.
Christian.
Yeah, I like when you get in farther in the story, you're gonna be like, thank fucking God we got this story, because like it's so good.
Christian,
It's so good.
Christian, when you read Deluxe Volume 5 and you read out, I actually tell you exactly where the anime ending, the 90s, and you'll be like, oh, worst place to end it.
I stand by. It's not the worst. It's definitely the most depressing.
When I mean worst, I mean literally if you didn't know about the manga or anything else, and that's where your story ends, you'd be like, well, Jesus fuck.
Yeah, I mean it's a big despair, but it's not like something where like it just
you don't
well,
get
like,
conclusion.
Like even some of the depressing like Greek tragedy style stories that I like, if they ended like a scene or two earlier, would have been the worst, most depressing wastes of my time in all of like fiction enjoyment. But then they have like a scene or two. I'm like, okay, we're fine.
Let's also just put it this way. When I was first made aware of Berserk, I asked family who watch quite a bit of anime. They're like, oh, it's that anime where it ends horribly for everybody. I'm like, man, that actually kind of makes me not want to check it out. Then I actually do check it out. I'm like, wait, this isn't how it ends. It keeps going. Oh, yeah, it keeps going quite a bit, in fact.
This is the way the story ends. No, it's not.
But I am ready. Once we do the next stream, Deluxe Volume 5, that's when I want to ask y'all's entire thoughts of Golden Age of the arc in general. Because there is one comment that I saw on like a different YouTube channel that I found retarded. Where the person was saying that the Golden Age was wasted. Like it should have been shorter or not really there. I'm like, no, the Golden Age is pretty important. Like it really explains why Guts was the way he was in the first fucking story.
The Golden Age was perfect. Or what are you talking about, you fucking clown?
I've
objectively wrong.
I've heard arguments where people say that Berserk doesn't get good until after the Golden Age arc.
That is fucking insane.
I'm like, it's okay to be wrong. So
also, you're telling me you read all the way through Golden Age and hating it until after that? Bullshit.
Then you get to like Lost Children and Conviction. You're like, okay, this is the good part.
I mean, maybe it's like because people really like, they just want their fantasy stuff, and there's not really fantasy stuff in Berserk until after the Golden Age.
If somebody says Berserk doesn't get good until Lost Children and Conviction, I have serious questions about their mental well-being.
Yeah, it's like, why, if you're not enjoying this in some, like, why are you reading this?
Imagine this with the Golden Age. You know Griffith is femto. He becomes a Godhand member. You know he's fucking evil. He's addicted to Guts and the Black Swordsman and shit. You get a little bit of hint in the Black Swordsman of like what Griffith used to be with his philosophy. Also, you get a call back to that in the Deluxe Volume, to that speech he had in there. This fucking arc makes you actually sympathize and like Griffith. You don't know.
I never went that far because I always like even if I didn't know beforehand that he would become a member of the God Hand, I never could have trusted the look expression.
Are you telling me there was no moment in this between Guts and Griffith where you're like, holy fuck, this is like a real friendship?
No.
Yeah, well, reading it more as an adult, or maybe because of with context, it's very much obvious that like, oh, these are very sociopathic tendencies, and you could, if you like have any study of psychology, you'd be picking it up like
Griffith
no problem.
Is a master manipulator.
But keep in mind, at the same time, there's several moments where he can where he has the chance to go a different path, and it would have ended up much better for everyone.
Keep in mind, Bat Sauce, before you read the Golden Age to the end, what he all does at the end. You don't really know exactly how it went down. You know that Guts gets branded as a sacrifice, and he sacrificed some people. You don't know exactly who.
Well, I mean, every time he loses, he faintly like has a loss of control or something like that, he lashes out in a erratical way.
With
There's
the
the
worst
part where he
possible
forces
result
Guts
also.
to do some really messed up stuff, like go assassinate the guy and like kills the kid, which he kind of wanted to happen. I don't know. He does some very manipulative stuff. That, like when
He
I
does. He
was
shows
younger, I
it.
just definitely didn't
But you can
notice.
also
But
still see. You can still see he has good in him. Still see that he's not.
I don't know. I think he's just completely selfish.
Well, he like
I don't.
I'm not. I think this event galvanizes and cuts away any goodness that could have been left in him. But I do think, like, if you do have good in you and you know what you're doing is wrong, but you continue to do it anyway, that almost makes you worse, in my opinion. Because he could have easily made some very different choices leading up to this, and he kept on choosing the wrong thing. Series of unfortunate events happens, and then, here he is.
Like the clearest sign is when he sent Guts to do an assassination mission, which obviously Guts shouldn't be doing, and it was a complete lack of care
What are you
for his
talking
friends.
about, Bat Sauce?
It was complete lack of care of his.
Why wouldn't you send your dude who's like 6'5" with a big giant sword? Known
He
for
is the
being
best
so
sneaking
recognizable
person in the entire army.
Yeah.
And
No
your
one can
disguise
sneak like
is to put a cloak on
He's
him.
the best thief around.
He looks like a
Trust me.
gargoyle that started walking.
He's like, I'm just
No one
using.
sneaks like him.
I'm just using one of my tools in one of my drawer. Guts just happens to be a power tool. The rest of people are just normal tools. Like that's
All
how
right,
he treats
Guts.
everyone.
You're
Right,
a
but
tool
it-
for
but it's not
discretion.
fully-
Now take your big giant sword and quietly kill a dude.
But here's the thing, too. You also see that he genuinely has feelings for Guts. Twisted and warped, but he does have feelings
Yeah.
for Guts. To the point
But
where
only
I mean,
Guts.
he literally says that Guts made him forget his dream. Every time,
Every time
loses
he whipped
composure.
out that big sword, I just lost it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But only Guts though. But like none of those other people. Like he literally.
Oh, no,
like,
He
Pippin,
100%
he could
manipulates
not.
the other ones.
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
But I mean, like, if you got a person like that has like zero care for like any of the people, he acts like he's got a lot of care because he's
But
a
he still
sociopath,
has-
very manipulative.
But he still has
But-
care for them. Even the Band of the Hawk, he still has some.
No, he has care for them as they are his tools for his
not
objective.
exactly. I do think he has. He sees them as tools, but I do think it's his tools.
Yeah.
His people.
It's
still
because
has
he
connection.
values
Why?
his
Because you-
property, not because he cares about them.
Yeah.
Remember,
It's
a
not love.
sacrifice. A sacrifice
It's-
has to be your humanity.
No, it's care like somebody has care for like a pen that they're like the old reliable pen.
You
This
still
is a
have to
good
have some
pen.
type- It still
But
has
it
to
is
be
a
a
pen.
connection to your humanity. That's the whole point of the sacrifice. Is you're ripping your humanity out.
I think there was very little of that to get rid of at this point.
Yeah.
I think most of that would be, like we mentioned, Guts. I think that's like if the pencil is all that's left of his humanity, maybe the Band of the Hawk is like a sliver within this pencil. Guts is most of this pencil. Not very much, but it's something.
Yeah.
Anyway, Billy, you're wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Definitely
No,
wrong.
I disagree.
So wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like
Never
when,
been more wrong.
when Guts tries to leave the Band of the Hawk and he just like he can't because he's like, this is my property. Leaving
Well,
me.
because his boyfriend, best friend, is trying to leave him.
Well,
His back
and
alley
then he
boy
loses-
is trying to leave him.
Yeah.
Even with Guts, the person that we think he had some real connection with, even with Guts, he refers to him as mine, as in like, not my friend, like you are my possession.
Yeah, but I do think he genuinely. When Guts overheard the conversation with Charlotte, I 100% believe he was referring to everyone else in the Band of the Hawk, but Guts, because I do think he actually.
No, he was referring to
has a
Guts.
fucked up- Huh?
He was referring to Guts too.
I don't
I
believe
think
that.
I think the one thing is when Guts left was him realizing that, and I'll agree with you on this. He realized at that moment that Guts was more than just a tool.
Yeah.
And so that was like a shed of humanity showing in a like absolutely dark, twisted way for somebody to think like that.
Also, Billy, it seems like you really want Griffith to care about them.
Yeah, dude.
He
Griffith isn't going to
It's
want
more!
your dick, dude.
It's more!
Dude, he specifically asked Guts, does he think he's cruel? Literally has an actual human motion.
He has to ask somebody because he can't tell himself.
Or that with after Zod, straight up tells Guts, does he need a reason to actually put his life at risk?
It's an interesting
moment,
human
it's
moment
an
because
honest moment of self-reflection and a vulnerable moment, but that doesn't mean that he cares for them more than
No,
what
I
they
think he
are.
genuinely cares for what Guts thinks.
I think he
if Guts
genuinely cares,
thinks
but
he's-
it also kind of feeds into sociopathic tendencies because he's kind of asking Guts, am I justified in doing what I'm doing? Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to keep doing it.
But he cares. But he cares about Guts' thoughts on that.
Yeah, he does
once again,
that
I'm not
too.
saying-
There's
I'm
a
not
couple of
saying-
layers going on there.
Look at
I'm
this
not
dude's
saying that-
avatar.
I'm not saying that
Come on.
Griffith's like emotional attachment is like normal people. He clearly has psychopathic. He's clearly twisted in the way his feelings and attachments and shit are.
I declare Billy Bob is a Griffith simp.
He's a Griffith grifter.
Can we second this notion?
Listen here, bitches.
Look, if you
I'm
look
not
up,
defending Griffith.
if you look up all the list of things that makes a sociopath, Griffith will fit every single one, and every single action he takes to the T is just sociopath. He's like by definition sociopath.
Right, for everyone else. I'm going to disagree with Guts.
With Griffith,
I think
with
it's
Guts as well.
Weird,
No,
fucked
I
up
agree
attachment.
with Billy Bob here, Bat.
Mhm.
Mr. Bats. Senior
With
Bats.
everything that they did.
No,
Maybe.
I don't think a sociopath isn't unable to feel things. It's just that they choose not to, and they can choose not to. And so most of the time, I believe he chooses not to, and that sometimes that little bit of humanity slips through, and usually it has to do with his best friend Guts.
Yes. His 100% best friend. No homosexual
Looks over.
undertones with these
Hey
characters.
guys, want to have a sleepover? Just us.
You want to throw some buckets of water while I'm naked?
Hi, Guts. You want to have a wet t-shirt party? No homo, I promise.
We'll take the t-shirts off. It's not a big problem.
Yeah, we'll just wear our undies.
Isn't that right, Mr. Hat?
That this is just getting in the way. Honestly, let's just leave it at that.
Right here, difficulty appreciating the negative aspects of their behavior. Like when he's asking Guts, like, is it wrong that dude? Like he's like,
Am I the asshole here?
Yeah,
Are
am
you
I the
really?
Okay, Bat
Guts,
Sauce,
I gotta ask, is it wrong to kill another man?
Oh,
Once again,
Christ.
Bat Sauce. I'm not saying that he's not a psychopath and shit and all this other stuff. But I do think when it comes to Guts, he does have a weirdly fucked up attachment
I
relationship
feel
with him.
things.
Or
in
feelings
places
for
I
him,
never
like-
thought I could feel again.
Like literally like the first time he's actually having someone an actual someone he's attached to and has feelings for. The other
Some
ones he doesn't
parts
give.
inside of me go real soft, and then others, well, they get frighteningly hard.
Did you say fatteningly? Is that what you just said?
No, I just garbled my words.
Okay.
I also love Casca's sword, by the way, design. It has the upside down heart.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, I forgot. I was trying to mention this earlier when my phone started fucking up and you guys couldn't hear me. Do you guys notice everybody's horses match them visually?
Yes.
Consistently
I was thinking
throughout
the
the
same
series. It's like the armor if it's a knight with unique armor, the horse's armor matches. If it's wild, his horse is also a weirdo with big teeth.
What's your horsona?
You know what? I was gonna say that this book didn't have any horses get killed, but I think Wild killed quite a bit. I think
yeah.
some of the apostle ate some horses.
Dude, his horse looked just like him too. Yeah.
The manga the company comes. So Mura, what were you thinking for this episode? Kill all horses, all of them.
Well, did he?
Publisher is just like,
in the first
yeah,
chapter,
go on and go ahead and do that, Mira.
Is he telling us that horses are hard to draw?
I gotta go. Is late over here.
It's getting late. And plus,
yeah, we
it
should
looks like you're being held
probably.
hostage in that.
It's very late
blank
over
room
here.
behind you.
We should probably wrap up. So, final thoughts. Who was the last person to do final thoughts? Was it Readout?
Frederick.
Frederick.
Matter of fact, Frederick was the only one to give his final thoughts.
That was like a half hour ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time for our final thoughts, children.
Again.
So we repeat the final thoughts.
All right, I'll say it. This book is third one's still my favorite, but the fourth one I think is the best paced in terms of just going through it and reading it.
This is the apex of Griffith's story. Like, it builds up to this huge crescendo, basically, that happens at the end of this one and spills over to the next one as well.
This is the payoff volume, and it absolutely paid off.
Yeah, and the next one's the do you feel sadness?
I don't know. Did you pick up a Berserk volume and you're like, oh, 10 out of 10.
I feel
good. 10 out of 10. Oh, 10 out of 10.
If you put a gun to my head, I think I would say 3. I like 3 a little bit more than 4.
Listen,
I would agree.
I'm going to say this. Berserk isn't just like one of the best manga or even the best like comic book in genre. It's one of the best stories ever told, in my opinion.
I agree.
I need to read more.
At least in context to the modern era, yes, I agree.
You will
Golden
have
Age,
moments later in this series with just panels of guts, and you're gonna like sit back and like kind of like reflect on previous chapters, and you're gonna be like, wow, this is like a legendary story.
I'm sure I'll get there. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Plus, we're fixing to start my favorite part of Berserk in general, the whole story, which is lost children at the beginning of Conviction.
Also, Billy Bob, you'll be heading up volume 5, and then
I gotta go though, guys.
All right,
later.
See you later. That's awesome.
Peace out, Joe.
See you, Bad
Have a good
Sauce.
one.
Also,
It's gonna
I'm
go
telling
like
you
this.
right- I'm telling you right now, Christian. It's not truly going to start feeling that way until the end of Conviction arc, start of Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, because that's when Han Solo shows up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everything gets better now.
And he'll look around and be like, yeah.
Christian, think of all the character moments you've seen in Golden Age and crank that up to 11. That's what you're getting, even in Conviction, but mostly in Millennium Falcon and Fantasia.
Okay. I'm not. I don't doubt it. It just
Think
to
of the
get into
Millennium-
the upper echelons of stories for me takes quite a bit.
You know the common saying, "Oh, the story opens up." Millennium Falcon is when Berserk kind of opens up, in quotes, in a weird fucking way.
Instead
a
of
lot
one arc,
happens.
we're gonna have
Same
all
shit.
of the arcs.
Yes.
It's like all the demons now have 3 tits. That's how we opened up.
Christian, do you like trolls?
I
God.
feel like I won't after this.
Do you like trolls? and
Exactly.
ogres? Ogres are like onions, except these look like penises.
Ogres are
Or
like
a shaft
penises.
ball.
Wait, that's
They
not how
have
it's supposed to go.
layers.
Oh God.
Her teeth found out anyway.
But Readout. Last
Hi.
thoughts?
Here's the deal. Deluxe Volume 3 was, in my opinion, superior paced, I was far more engaged with it. However, while I consistently enjoyed that over Deluxe Volume 4, Deluxe Volume 4 ends with the eclipse. So, that it kind of has that.
It's the culmination.
I like the opening and the ending of this volume. I actually did not really care too much for the wild stuff. It was interesting, but it just kind of dragged on. And maybe just because I had the foresight, I know the eclipse is coming up. I just want to get to the darn eclipse.
The eclipse kind of does eclipse almost everything else that happens in this.
It's actually a fair bit of criticism. I also think there's a reason why a lot of the anime adaptations just straight up skip over anything involving Wild. it can feel just a little redundant compared to everything else.
And especially
Yeah,
after
but I
when
like
after
the
they
kills.
cut him down and he's still freaking alive, and I was like, "Oh, thank God Zod came in and nuked this guy.
Well-
Thank God."
Well, hey,
It's the
what
closest
if we
early
condensed
on
the,
that Berserk feels to like a proper like shonen anime fight in the Golden Age.
Well, like what? Imagine that if I could rewrite it, this is what I would do. I would condense the two parts of the Black Dog kind of conflict, condense it into one part, and then have some contemplative, character moments while traveling towards the end goal of the eclipse. I would have a bit more of that, a little bit less of the, twofold
I don't
conflict
know.
there.
I love the jokes in Wild, so
That's
still
fair.
enjoy
There's still good stuff, and the fight stuff, and that's still fantastic. I was not that I didn't enjoy it, but that middle portion, I was just getting to the point, like, oh dear God, how much longer till like, come on, just die already, just die already.
It
Die,
falls in.
die, you dog!
It falls into the trap that a lot of battle manga do, where it's one fight that takes several chapters, and you finally get to the end. You're like, I know I'm supposed to feel hyped, and to a certain degree I do, but this also went on longer than it probably should have.
I think that
Otter,
the
can I say
advantage of
this?
a good anime is that the anime is you don't like with a manga you read at whatever pace you read at. But if it's several chapters long, most people are going to read that slower than it would be if just watching an episode of a
Okay.
show.
So
Yeah.
Otter, I think Wild was actually needed. It's to show us how far Guts has come to being able to fight an apostle.
I
showing us
do
that he
agree
can
with
take
that part. Yeah, I agree. It shows how much he has actually grown. It's going from him being
To make it
shaking
believable
in
that
his
he's about
boots.
to make out, he's able to make
Yeah.
out of the clips. Basically, it's like, look,
Yeah,
he was
because-
able to
okay,
fight off an
so-
apostle now.
Read out. You saw at the end, like Guts is going to fight a bunch of apostles.
With a knife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
here's
pretty
the
much
thing,
just saying, oh yeah, you finally mustered up the strength to kill one apostle. Here's an avalanche of them. Have
Good
fun.
luck. Good luck.
Also, I'm like,
Godspeed.
because I haven't read volume 5 yet, I'm like, is this when we lose the arm or lose the
Yes,
start
this is
losing
where
body?
you're fixing to find out how he loses his arm, how he loses his eye. You're gonna at
Please
the end.
let it happen that his arm is squished and crushed betwixt the beautiful bodice of the female member of the Godhead. that would
trust
be
me,
one
you're
hell of a way
going-
to lose it.
You are going to remember this scene, for better or for worse. You are going to remember it.
It's one of the most used panels is when his arm gets ripped off. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, you're gonna at the aftermath of the eclipse, you're gonna find out how he gets the Dragon Slayer, how he gets the cannon.
I've been wondering about this. In my mind, I'm like, it would be cool if these were weapons bequeathed by like gods or angels. It's like one of them's like, here, the Dragon Slayer, and the other one's like, here's a cannon.
Dude, it's so much better than that. I love the backstory.
I believe
of
it
the
is,
Dragon
but you come up with different string theories in your mind, and I'm like, this one is probably not correct, but it is very funny in my head. the way I'm
If you're
picturing
thinking
it.
it's gonna be like a godly bestowed weapon, boy.
I don't like I said, I don't think that's actually what's going to happen, but in my mind I'm like, that would be kind of funny. Like one of them gives the legendary sword to kill all demons and dragons, and then the next one's like, here is a cannon.
You know,
Boom.
you may need it.
Believe it or not, there's also some slapstick comedy coming up here, and probably like 5-10 chapters down the line.
Okay.
It's after the eclipse, like the first fucking opening after the eclipse. is a
You
slap
don't
joke.
expect it, and it's so good. It's so good.
Also, when Puck does appear in this volume, I'm like, what the fuck? Fucking full spread bullshit. I'm like, why
Oh,
are you
but
here?
he's there for a reason. You'll see why.
I know he is, but it's still it's weird, and it was funny. And plus, I think we
Also,
kind of saw him zooming around different parts of the manga too, like leading up to this. So it's like,
Oh well,
we
it had
can
like
finally see
little
him.
tiny things when like Casca was doing like her joke panel.
Dear Lord, we've been on so long that we're starting to get bots on the comment section.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I was about to mention.
Uh-oh.
But anyway,
let's see.
Oh wait. Do you want allow me to read this one out loud here?
Okay, let's bring him up on screen just for emphasis. Hi, Mr. Bot.
Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient. Order management panel. Chat
Do we
panel.
look like a Disney show
Everything is
channel?
in your hands. A huge number of custom settings. Go to Streamrise.
Gee golly whiz, that sounds like a hell of a deal.
Gee golly whiz, that sounds like a scam.
Also, it would be very helpful if you gave us the last four of your social, the name of your childhood dog, your first car, a few other things, nothing important,
And your credit card number, just for security.
and the back, obviously, for just to be more secure. Obviously,
They want your soul. They want your soul. They offer you a behemoth in exchange.
Well, that's optional.
Also, I know the Baelid is like supposed to be like a representation. And it's just a tool for this whole thing. But I'm like, I kept on giggling because I'd look at the Baelid throughout this last grouping of panels. I'm like, the Baelid is not having a good day. Just like bleeding eyeballs, just like silently screaming. I'm like,
So
he is
this
not
isn't really.
enjoying-
Yeah, it isn't really a big spoiler, but it's a fetish toy that's used to bring them, like a magic toy that brings them to the God Hand, to the lower part, to the parts of the astral realm that you have to have a behemoth to get to.
Oh, okay. And that's how the whole scene came about with all the weird shit coming out of yeah.
All the faces and yeah.
Also, I can't be the only one who's looking at all the faces and being like, "This." I'm getting some FMA Brotherhood vibes a little bit from. I think there's definitely like one of the 7 deadly sins. Definitely,
I think
was inspired
FMA
by
kind
this a little
of
bit.
dives into similar themes in parts. It's not always, but yeah, there's definitely places in the series where it does kind of it doesn't get berserk dark, but it kind of skirts along the fringes just a little bit.
It gets about as dark as Shonen gets, but
Yeah.
it may be a tiny bit darker, but not enormously. Yeah,
Well, anyways.
yeah. I'm curious.
Frederick, any chilling?
Any chilling?
Shilling boy.
Shilling, yes. I make
Listen, it was meant to be a death blow.
Don't walk over my shilling here. I make comics.com will take you to the website. It's just a landing page for now, but I'm working on an update that's coming soon. Within a month, I'm going to have stuff to promo and a campaign started on the comic book. So stay tuned.
Big fatty comics. Tremendously large, full-bodied comics.
Tremendous
Christian?
pairs.
I am the ultimate kahuna. I have a lot of upcoming content coming up on my channel as well as on Twitter. Tomorrow I'll be doing probably a late night reading stream. I'll be reading the prologue for book 2 of Herman P. Hunter's Revenant series, the first book in the Revenant and the Cult. I'll be reading that along with a story by Allison Wade and CJ Pence as well. So there's that. And then I'll be in Hawaii for like 7 to 10 days. And so I'll be posting content daily while I'm over there as well. So check it
You
out.
also got something next Friday.
I know. I'm going to be streaming that from over there. I'm going to have to assign everybody some portions to read.
Fourth Wing, everybody. Really bad.
Will you just kill me already? Because if you are going to
likes it, Frequency doesn't hate it.
I know.
What little I've read, I'm like, God, kill me now.
You have 1 week to read it, my friend.
Frequency
Don't remind me.
went like everyone's gonna like lambast me, but when we do the stream, and I'm like, yes, probably.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I'm going from reading authors like Philip K. Dick and Jack Vance to Fourth Wing.
Now, don't get me wrong. In the particular like target demographic that this book is meant to be sold to, It is nowhere near the bottom of the barrel, believe it or not.
Who is
There-
the target demographic, though?
Mostly,
Retarded 13-year-old.
mostly women who are either reading young adults or middle-aged, older women who are want to keep on reading young adult stories, but with spice.
That's my conclusion, is that it feels like it's targeted towards older women who are reading young adult level fiction, but with smut thrown in.
That's exactly what it is. But you know, the problem is, I've seen stories where this can be done right. You can have the smut kind of relationship focus kind of story and still be good.
Oh,
This
yeah,
just isn't.
Right.
Read out.
I'm boring apparently. Yeah, that's how I shill myself now. I don't create wonderful fictional stories. I'm a historian. I tell nonfiction. But if you want to hear crazy stories that really happened, you can go over and check out Readout Productions. We have a very, very important episode of Retracing History coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's about a month's work of editing into it, so I'm very proud to finally get it out.
Nice.
Nice.
Me. I think it's May the 3rd we're doing the Berserk Deluxe Volume 5 stream. In which I
Yes.
love this thumbnail, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God.
What? You made me the fat guy.
So is everybody going to be shouting Otter that whole stream?
Actually,
Oh, because
why
you're
did you? I'm surprised you didn't give Otter tits. It seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, why don't I have tits? Come on.
Hold up. I wanted to keep consistent. You put Readout's profile pic on Casca, so now he definitely has to be on Slam. And you have to make it sure it's in the center of the fucking or the top center part of the thumbnail, so everyone's eyes.
I mean, at least I'm not Griffith.
I'm seeing missed potential here. Kahuna should have been Slan. That way he has kahunas.
That's
tremendous. Full body
Wait, wouldn't he be
kahunas.
missing kahunas?
Interesting.
Like I gave him like thousands of kahunas, and our little French man, of course, is the devilish manipulator speaker. No
Take
reason.
it as you will.
And then on May the 11th, me, Otter, Umbrella Cat, Frederick, and Animated Moon will be doing like an art chill stream.
Oh, sweet.
I think that's it. Unless
So,
whenever our feed is shaking
Billy,
up.
are you going to show off your artistic talent?
Yes, I'm gonna show them Black Tarzan.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
I was about to make a very bad joke, and I barely.
Here's the thing: I'm doing the concept. Frederick's the artist, you know.
NDA.
Yeah, non-disrespect agreement.
Yeah, that's what it stands for.
Otter. You have no clue where that joke's from, Christian.
Well, I have a Swords and Sorcery novel out right now. Be sure to check out Steel and Stormbright, The Curse of the Star Raids on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also check out more of what I do here on YouTube. I have a blog where I put up reviews, short stories, and the occasional article on downstreampulp.substack.com. But with that, I shall bid...
Wait.
Oh,
Before
go
you
ahead.
close that. What the fuck are you sharing, Christian? Like, the
Uh-oh.
fuck is this?
You gotta zoom in.
Like,
open it up. It's a meme. I made it just today. I was trying to find a way to like give him flip flops too, but I couldn't figure.
You may not like hearing it, but this is the correct length of shorts for men.
I tried to have everything.
That's hitting below the belt.
Oh
my
this
God,
is no
no.
worse than some of the crap like Hermit has put together.
Boy, what is that? Pegging.
well, anyways, back to your
Speaking of
closeout,
below
Otter.
the belt.
Speaking of
Well,
Brady boys.
and with that, we'll go ahead and call it for tonight. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll hope to see you again next time. Until next time, good night and God bless, friends.